Right. Tell me.
So this
Go ahead.
this debt trap is a job as a lumber worker. And at this lumber mill, as you work as a lumber worker, you will be effectively paid minimum wage for 10 years. However, board, food, and protection and house, and like you get to build your own fucking house, are all free. And after those 10 years are up, you earn triple the average wage of a citizen in Vale, the city.
That's not a debt trap. That's an amazing deal, and that's a great way to.
Yeah.
Assuming the company actually does that, and assuming that they don't, have like.
Yeah, so this is the part.
Assuming they don't have a Vietnam-esque mortality rate for first-year workers or something.
No. This is the part that I'm talking about because Core sets all this shit up and it's like, oh well, this could be great on it's great on the surface, but it's terrible underneath. No, he proceeds to fuck it all up. He's like, no, actually, there's like no Grim in the area because the SDC do constant Grim checks and clear out all the Grim in the area constantly, so it's always safe. And they feed them all really well, and all the lodgings are extremely high quality, and like
because they're built by the guys who are going to live in them.
And there's no abuse going on at all. Like, they're very strict, but there's no like actual like we're just gonna beat a faunus up because they're faunus abuse going on. And like. All the people they talk to, they're like, yeah, it's hard work, but we're getting paid really well.
Is the stream supposed to be muted?
I kind of wanted to leave that as an open mic thing because I don't want to explain it again.
Fair enough.
But it's just so fucking dumb because then he goes into the author's note and he's like, yeah, debt traps are institutionally racist.
That's not a debt trap.
I know.
It's a pretty... Listen, if someone told me that was my option, I would be like, yes, I'm in. This is a great deal.
And it was like, okay, so... And then John gets, like, handed a nice, high-quality, well-maintained axe, and he's told to go strip the trees that get cut down. And he's like, oh, well, why can't I get a chainsaw? And they're like, oh, you have to rent the chainsaw. He's like, what? I have to rent the chainsaw? And they're like, yeah. We have a dust shortage going on right now. We have to transport the dust all the way here. So yeah, if you want to use the chainsaw outside of what we've budgeted, you have to pay for it.
I mean, suspiciously close to a debt trap. Sound logic, but close to a debt trap, right? It like.
I'm not saying it.
I feel like he read. No, I'm just saying like that's a tactic that debt traps will use, renting your equipment.
Yeah, except they're all given like, but like the people that have to cut down the trees. They get the chainsaws for free.
Right, no, but see, what I was gonna say was,
yeah,
I feel like he read the Darth Bane book 5 or 6 years ago.
Yeah, but it's just like he describes a debt trap and then proceeds to prove that it's not a debt trap by having them uphold everything on their end of the bargain to the fullest extent that a company would do so. So, like, you're not getting, like, 5-star healthcare, but we do actually have a licensed doctor that keeps up with medical practices and a fully stocked infirmary.
We have a real doctor on site.
Yeah, I'm only a third of the way through the new chapter for this story. They were lining out the stuff last chapter. I'm like... I don't know. They literally just gave the calculations, explained that you'll be done in 10 years.
Yeah, and then past the 10-year mark, you're earning shitloads of money, and it's just and I'm just sitting here like, what the? How is this a debt trap, Core? And then he goes on in the author's note to say it's institutionally racist, and I'm like, poor is not a race.
Oh, you want to get started on that?
Non-racist.
I'm just like, oh my god, I would sign up for this.
I would sign up for it in a hot minute.
And this is the sort of shit I talk about all the time with companies, where I'm just like, why do companies seemingly want to not make money? But here's Core portraying the SDC as a company that wants to make money, so they actually do everything within their power to spend the minimal amount of money, but still provided the best quality they can for that money because it returns more money.
Wow,
Like,
it's almost like they have brain cells.
You didn't make the SDC. Here's the thing, right? If he'd like just actually gone and read the Darth Bane book, that's a debt trap, right? It's really, really easy to see how everything he just described could be a debt trap.
Of course.
But he's too dumb to do it.
Sorry, Max, I'm gonna spoil it. The racism part is that the leader of the SDC in the area is an old woman who likes to have sex with young men. And she uses her ability as the boss of the area and the only person who would be believed in a word versus word scenario. And the fact that she's female. He even mentions this, right? So he even mentions this. He has John go in. He gets molested by this lady, and John's like, "Whoa, lady, I don't want to have sex with you." And she takes off her clothes and is like, "All right, if I scream right now and the guards come in here, who do you think they're gonna believe? I'm raping you or you're raping me?"
But that's not racist.
I know. I'm like, so he's showing racism with female privilege. What?
That's not
carpet brain, dude.
racism. That is an entirely different subject matter that affects everyone.
It's just
unfortunately.
like, what? Like, he is just fucking missing this point so hard.
Sexual harassment and molestation is not racist. It's just plain horrible.
Yeah, and like the race, that's what I'm saying. The racism part is that she thought he was a faunus, so she used her power over him because he's just a civilian faunus, and she's the leader of a very profitable lumber camp. And she's like, well, you know, the SDC is going to believe my word over yours if you try and tell them about this. And it's like, that's not racism. That's just someone being a power-hungry douchebag and using their power to abuse their position. Weinstein!
Yeah. Actually, it should be pointed out that, like, because he wanted to go, if that's how he did it, if he tried to play that out as a racist thing, motherfucker, I've got news for you. That's not playing a race card. That's usually playing a gender card, even if she knew that he was human.
So, sorry guys, this is just basically...
It's common enough.
Sorry,
it's a horror story in workplaces where I've been, unfortunately.
So to everyone in the chat, this is basically a pre-game talk about me complaining about Cor Alaron's latest chapter in one of his stories, and we're not really covering it because Cor Alaron's actually like a decent author. But the problem is he's got some political issues that affect his ability to portray things in a certain way in his stories. And to answer the question, what is institutional racism? Basically, it's racism built into an institution. For example, Planned Parenthood, which was an institution started with the sole purpose of reducing the minority population in the U.S. That is an institutional racism because it's an institution, basically, with their main goal being racism. The left try to say that police are institutionally racist and black people not leading every business ever is institutionally racist, or insert minority here not being the everything is institutionally racist. But what they're really doing is not using any of those words correctly. So it would be like if a federal government authority said, I'm not going to give you a driver's license because you're black. That would be institutional racism. Or they do say they're going to give the driver's license, but what you got to do is you got to go to this building over here and fill out this form, and when they get to that building, they got to go to that building over there and fill out that form, and basically give them a ring around for a while because they're black or whatever. That's institutional racism. Getting harassed by your female boss because she is in a position of power over you is not institutional racism. A debt trap is not institutional racism. Now, if it was a debt trap that specifically targeted minorities, it would be institutional racism.
No, it'd just be racism.
But it's just a debt trap. Literally anyone can come and apply for that SDC job. And it just so happens that most faunus are more poor than others, so they are a majority of the workers.
Yeah, that's like kind of sad. that's more personal racism than institutional racism.
Yeah.
Because businesses aren't institutions; they're just businesses.
Oh, true.
No, it's
Private.
entirely possible for a business to be institutionally racist by, for instance, targeting minority groups for exploitative work practices and stuff like that.
Okay, true. The personal
If
racism
he
would be more
wanted
the
to
bug.
point, if he wanted to point
disagree,
the debt
honestly.
trap, if he wanted to point to the debt trap as doing that, he should have had John just come out as like, "I'm a human, my wife is a faunus," and then maybe pointed out like, "Oh yeah,
John comes out as black.
Trifa was talking with some of the other faunus workers. Like, yeah, no, they got a different deal than we did. They're stuck in debt for like 15 plus years
exactly.
with no chance of getting out."
That would honestly have been a good one. Like, that would have actually added to the comedy of the whole story, where he's just like, guys, I have a great plan. I'm gonna pretend to be a human husband to Tifa, and so I'll see if they give me a better deal. Like,
Next thing you'll say is, "I was only pretending to be retarded."
but like that would have added to the humor of the story, because part of the humor in the story is the fact that everyone thinks he's a faunus, even though he's like, "Oh yeah, no, I'm not, guys. Haha, that was a joke. I'm totally a faunus. Please don't kill me."
What if I do anyway?
But yeah, no. So that was just my pre-game rant about Core Alaron's latest story. That I just get so fed up with him sometimes because he says stupid shit in the author's note like that. But this is Fanfiction Contempt Theater 9003, officially starting. I am your host, Sneaky Devil. We got Gray, we got Max,
late, but
we got Atin, we got Arn. Do we got anyone else?
Gamers. That's
We got
nice.
Gray in here.
Yeah, I said Gray.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Gray said
I
hi.
missed it because Atten and Arn were talking over you and each other.
Oh, they always
Yeah.
do that.
Yeah.
Always, because I don't want to listen to you guys. I mean,
Exactly.
who
You
wants
gotta-
to listen to you guys, honestly?
Apparently, no one.
Exactly.
Even though they've been notified, they've been gifted a sub, they still don't show up.
I
Yeah, I
mean,
mean-
it's free real estate that they can just ignore for a month. Let's be
And
honest
it's
here.
like, oh, hey, I paid someone.
So you know what we're gonna do? We're not gonna do
Someone
Ruby.
paid
We're not gonna
to pay
even touch Ruby. We're not even gonna go anywhere near Ruby.
Woo!
I can't wait for you to get 5 shots in and forget about that at 8.
FOZ fic time!
Oh
Oh
god.
no.
It's been a
Sorry,
while.
What?
Familiar Zero.
Oh, yeah.
Alright,
been a minute.
let's just pop this on over. Hibbity hoppity. Let's pop this cork. Alright, so this is a locally brewed Vermont maple bourbon. Let's see how it
Yeah,
is.
sounds nice.
It's a 45% alcohol content.
Damn. That's a fair bit.
Woo! That burns.
Have we looked at this before? I'm not
Check.
sure, but like this seems like something.
Potentially.
Where's
Oh
Isley?
no! Here it is. Yeah, the cues. The cues.
Oh.
The cues.
Oh no, not the cues. No, no.
Oh
PTSD.
god.
Have we seen this?
Oh
We
god,
might
oh
have.
fuck. Yeah,
We might have stared
mean-
at it and then just skipped it.
I'm fairly sure.
Oh
we've
no!
at least
Yeah,
one
no.
story with the
See,
cues.
yeah, no. This is the This
Yeah.
is the one where Saito gets this super long flashback about how amazing his parents are, and that's how
Yeah.
Saito genetically inherited like literal godhood. And then he went into a special Black Ops program to become God, and then he got summoned into Halgenkia. Oh right, yeah, Triton Academy. Yeah, we've read this one before, boys.
Good. Good.
Alright, get it the fuck off my screen.
Oh, Bleach fic. Excellent.
No. No.
Why have you done this to me?
Redo and change.
Yeah, boy. It's a going back in time Bleach fic.
Oh no.
Wait, M for language violence nudity. TOS? Did someone say TOS?
Yeah.
Oh, fucking hell.
TOS
Stannis,
indeed.
stop spending your money on this useless retard.
Oh,
Why
fuck
is
are you
the
doing?
summary?
shit,
Why
Stannis
is every
dropping the
word
mad money.
capitalized?
Jesus Christ.
That's actually pretty good.
Stannis just wasting his money. What a fucking loser.
So what
Watch
happened?
him still lose the Gucci despite being overpowered. We never actually got that far. We literally like died. We got like halfway through the first chapter. And we're like, no, we can't do this anymore. The big thanks to Stannis for dumping all of his today's income on me.
Yeah. Did somebody get their
Trump bucks?
Yeah.
I got my Trump bucks.
He's from across the border. He won't get any.
Anyway, so this is Redo
Back
and
again.
Change, a Bleach fanfiction. Featuring
I
feminine-looking
need some fucking Bleach
Ichigo
for
on
this,
the
dude.
profile picture.
I need to drink some fucking Bleach before we get to this, honestly. Fucking
It
hell.
takes place when Kisuke's seal fully ensnares the madman Aizen. In his latch-ditch effort, he tries to release as much power from the Hogyoku, only to accidentally send it into Ichigo. Ah, yes. Don't you hate it when you use your Deus Ex Machina and you just accidentally send it into the hero?
Oops.
Yes.
Is that like double
You know what?
Deus Ex
I'm gonna
Machina?
be honest.
The
That
worst
sounds
part
like
is
I'm
it's
sorry.
a Deus Ex Machina that works on your wishes,
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
which means
But
he
this
had to be
sounds-
witchy
sounds
for him
like-
to be stronger.
This sounds like a light novel premise almost. I drop my Deus Ex Machina into the hero. Now I have to make sure they don't destroy me.
I dropped my Deus Ex. You got your hero in my Deus Ex Machina. You got your Deus Ex Machina in my hero.
Okay.
That sounds like it would be like a one-shot manga volume of some bullshit.
Don't should underestimate the Japanese, dude. They could draw that into a fucking 800 chapter long manga without even fucking sweating about it.
Now, with the
That's like a 20-year
Hogyoku,
fucking reign.
the Soul Society has deemed him too dangerous and wind up killing him. Wait, what?
Wait, I'm sorry. No, hang on a second. This is after Ichigo is proven to be an asset as well as someone that they can actually trust. I'm pretty
Also-
sure the sequence of events
also-
would be like, "Hey, Kisuke, can you get that out of him?" "Oh yeah, sure. Just give me like a day."
Also, literally stronger than everyone else. Like, just disproportionately, literally stronger than everyone else.
Well, no. Here's the other problem. Because this is his last-ditch effort. This is after Ichigo has already used up all of his spiritual energy
Yeah.
for the final Tensho.
Yeah.
Which means he's just a normal human with a wish-granting device stuck inside him.
One
What is he going to
punch!
do with it? I don't think he physically has the power to use it at that point.
One punch.
Oh.
And that's the story of how Ichigo lost his hair and turned into One Punch Man.
The true
Okay, but how
origins
did
of
the world
Saitama.
how did the world go sideways?
Clearly, he wanted monsters to fight because he couldn't see the monsters anymore.
You know what? That's perfect. The Hyogoku. I've never
The
been able to pronounce that
Hogyoku.
fucking thing.
Yaku!
The wish granting device,
yuck.
like, yo, he has a wish. Let's do this. I have just enough energy.
I have just enough energy to grant him his wish.
Anyway, so, in
By
his
the way,
last
I do
breath-
still love that they just the one thing that I did actually like about the end of Bleach. The author ramped it up and ramped it up and ramped it up. Realized he'd written himself into a corner and was like, I can't kill him. I legitimately can't kill my villain. And then was like, but I can just lock him in a box and throw away the key.
Oh, you mean leading up to Aizen?
Yes. He's like, I can't actually get rid of this guy. But I can totally have my dude who's really great at this one thing invent a new box specifically to lock him in it so that he's the only one with the key.
To lock away the wish granting device as well that he created in the first place.
So
Yeah.
I have
Let's
to
not
say,
forget that part.
This whole, like, capitalization thing is really annoying, and it's manually done too. You know, it's not like I accidentally left caps lock on or something. Like, no, he had to manually hold shift with every single
You're right.
word.
He did.
And so this is all manual. This is intentional. He intentionally capitalized every single word in the summary and author's note. And I don't know why.
Here's the thing that's confusing.
I don't
he
know
didn't
why.
do it in the main story.
I know.
Sneaky,
So it's
he knew
a
that one day
personal
you
choice.
specifically would read this story. He was
Oh,
preparing
please.
for you.
In his last breaths, he wished it could have changed all of this. The Hogyoku takes it literally. So he gets sent back in time. Yeah. A change of pace. In this story, it takes place when Kusuke's seal, large dish effort, author's note is literally just a fucking...
Yeah, it's the summary again. Also, apparently it's rated M for language, violence, and nudity.
Yeah, which breaks the TOS. This is
also
going to be an alternative universe, out of character, but no OCs. Okay, well, apparently everyone's going to be an OC anyway, so... Ichigo simply stayed on his knees. That's not how I would start a story.
I was gonna say, I bet there's a lot of Bleach fan fictions that start that way.
Yeah.
Too many.
As he watched Aizen become completely ensnared within the seal Kusuke had implanted within him, Aizen continued his rant at the now stoic shopkeeper and was talking about something that Ichigo could only assume was the Soul King. Why is that not capitalized? You fucking went out of your way to capitalize manually the whole goddamn summary, but you fuck up on capitalizing Soul King?
So it would seem.
As the seal trapped his arms again, Ichigo looked away, aroused. Aizen decided that he wasn't ready to accept his defeat just yet and poured as much energy into Hogyoku as he possibly could. The ground around him shook, and that was about it, actually. Story's over. No, I'm just kidding. Kisuke recognized that Aizen was trying to draw on the Hogyoku's power, only for it to openly reject him now. To both Kisuke's surprise and Aizen's last
I forgot
images.
the wish-granting device didn't like you if you were a weak bitch.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was an important plot point.
Yeah. To both Kisuke's surprise and Aizen's last images before the seal took him whole, was the Hogyoku bursting from the seal and flying straight into Ichigo's chest, knocking the savior to the ground. No! Aizen shouted out as he was fully sealed now.
I mean, I'll say this: out of all the people to end up with the ultimate wish-granting device, Ichigo's probably one of the best options in terms of not going to do bad things with it intentionally.
True. He'll just probably forget about it after a while. Ichigo! Ichigo, are you alright?
I'm sorry, yes, I can just imagine that. He just lives forever, and someone finally is like, why have you lived forever? Oh, I think it's because of the wish-granting device that's in my chest. The what?
No, more like he beats some new big bad comes along. He beats up the big bad, and then someone's just like, Ichigo, why didn't you just like laser him with your wish device? And Ichigo's like, oh right, yeah, I have that, don't I?
I forgot about that.
Cause that's Ichigo. Ichigo, answer me now, Kisuke demanded, a very fearful tone in his voice. I'm fine, Kisuke. Ichigo started as he
Hey, Sneaky, how do you say this character's last name?
Who's?
Kisuke's.
Urahara?
I mean, closer than I thought he would get.
Honestly, for Sneaky, that is close enough.
Yeah. Like, did you fucking butcher it? Like you always do.
We'll give you points for getting like 85% of the way there, Sneaky.
Fucking just like you got 85% of the way to losing your virginity?
I mean, I have lost it, so good try.
Your hand
I'm
doesn't
not
count.
I'm not funny. I don't know why we're still talking about nose.
I don't know why you brought him into this.
I mean, I would have to say because it's the low-hanging fruit.
Well, I mean, he did get the second base with a Doritos bag, so.
Yeah. It was a half-empty Doritos bag too, so that means it was sloppy seconds.
Oh, he filled it all right.
Yes.
No, I'm just kidding. He didn't fill it at all. It's not a micro bag. He placed his hand on his chest and felt the rush of power surging through him. It was unlike anything he had ever felt before.
The power! No,
flex.
wait, wrong show.
The intense energy, the almost limitless pool of Rietsu rushing through his reserves. And in the amount of pressure he knew he had no choice but to hold back forever. Are you sure? Kisuke started with a very concerned tone to his voice. I don't know what Aizen did to you, but whatever it was, you now possess the Hagyoku. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I felt that, Kisuke. The Ichigo groaned as he started to stand up. Didn't he already started to stand up? Oh no, he started to sit up. Okay. He looked over to Kisuke's worried face and was truly baffled by the usually calm or jovial man was now heavily worried like this. I do not like that sentence at all.
Yeah, it's not a good sentence.
Very
word. He took like 10 words to say what he needed like 5.
Yeah. I am fine, Kisuke. Trust me.
No.
It's not that I don't trust you, Ichigo. I just don't trust that thing anymore, Kisuke said as he pointed at the Hagu.
I mean, considering it that it has displayed some amount of sentience.
I mean, it's got enough sentience to detect that you're a bitch, right? Like, that's really all we need to know.
Simp detected!
Hey Ichigo, I heard you're fine with Orihime having an OnlyFan account.
I support Orihime. Oh, Yoku, no!
It just alien chest bursts directly out of you.
Yeah.
Oh, that's horrifying.
Let's see. Don't worry, I'll never turn. I will never turn into what Aizen turned into. Oh God. Wow.
Okay.
I don't like these sentences. Kisuke smirked at the teens' plural teens. Apparently Ichigo is multiplying. Reassurance and was about
His
to
fondest wish was to have a bigger family, so it made more of him.
Indeed. And was about to say something else. Really, he was about to say words. Oh, fucking thank you, author, for telling us that.
Ichigo was going to say words, but then I decided that would be too much trouble.
Until something truly unexpected happened. A Zanpakuto shot out of Ichigo's chest, impaling Kisuke.
Okay, so Who's gonna be the one that turned the blade on him?
Who knows? A Zanpakuto pierced through Ichigo's back and went straight through his chest. Wait.
Oh, please tell me it's
Wait.
Crazy Science Man.
Wait.
Yes, we're waiting. What?
It went straight through his chest. Wait, it pierced through his back and went straight through his chest, as if those are apparently two separate objects, piercing through the back and through the chest.
I mean, to be fair, his spine could have gotten in the way.
Yes, but saying that your sword pierced through their back means your sword went through their chest. You don't need to then say, and my sword then went through their chest. It's like, yes, typically when you stab someone in the back, that implement goes through their chest. Like, it doesn't, like, come out of their arm.
You're telling me you don't have a dimensional portal inside your chest cavity?
Wait, hang on, I just want to point out, daggers and knives exist.
They still pierce through your chest.
No, Sneaky?
A dagger is too small.
Sneaky. All of the knives I've sent you, the pocket knives, are not piercing through a man's chest when you stab him in the back with it. I don't know what kind of fantasy you've been having. That's not possible.
I don't know, man. What if I add wind chakra to them?
If you have access to chakra, period, we got a whole new set of issues.
Kasuke stood there wide-eyed and jaw dropped at the sight in front of him. Ichigo couldn't tell what happened at first until he felt the blade being slowly pulled out of him. Ichigo fell to the ground, and as he did, Kasuke was the first to see the one responsible for this, and was at a loss of words when he saw it was Rukia.
Wait, no, hang on.
Wait, really, it's Rukia.
Of all the people to betray him, you pick okay. If
Ichigo! Rukia, how could you betray me? It's not a betrayal if I was never loyal to you, Ichigo.
Okay, I'm sorry. If it had been like Byakuya, I could believe it.
I would have. That was literally
been,
who my bet was going to be on.
If it had been the captain of First Squad, Genkai, I would believe it. If it was Kyoraku, the lazy kimono-wearing bastard, I could believe it.
I could have bought it coming from Small Child Boy.
Oh,
Toshio?
I'm having.
Yeah, Hirshiro.
Yeah. I could understand those people because while they've all come to trust Ichigo to get shit done, they're still the kind of people that tend to be pragmatic. But even they would have one of like, do I want to commit to this?
Wait, what the fuck?
But for it to just be Rukia completely without hesitation.
What the fuck? Rukia! Kisuke started. Wow, he really likes using started. I don't like started. I do not like started. Not unless he's like, you're about to say something and you write like, well, to begin with, he started, and then you go into like a long-winded speech. That I could buy for started, but like, Rukia, he started. What are you doing? He finished.
Rukia, what are you doing? I'm
just
murdering
Rukia, what are you doing? Well, you don't need to be like, he started saying words, and then he finished saying words. It's like, cool? Thanks, author?
It's implied was said in all the other ones.
Yeah. It's implied when you start doing dialogue quotations that you're starting dialogue. You don't need to tell us you're starting dialogue. What the hell are you doing, Rukia? Why did you just attack your friend like that? Yeah, I can see what the author means when he says everyone's out of character.
This goes beyond out of character and just straight up like, you are trying to write your own original fiction But slapping names down.
Kasuke was starting. Again, Kasuke's
But the best
starting.
part is because Sneaky keeps mispronouncing names, it sounds like the author has just been like making up random names the entire time.
Kasuke was starting to truly lose his composure. Wait, are you telling me him being like high-pitched and whiny isn't him losing his composure? At seeing how cold Rukia was acting, she hadn't changed her blank expression. Not even once. Rukia didn't answer him and just turned and walked away. Before Kasuke could do anything, the rest of the Soul Reapers showed up. That were able to, of course. The ones among the confused and disturbed former captain. The ones among the confused and disturbed former captain were the head captain.
What?
I think he would be the least confused. He'd be like, ah, good, Rukia made a good decision. Can't let this thing stick around.
Like, again, I could even accept it if the head captain shows up and is like, ah, yes, good, thank you, Special Agent Rukia. You did an excellent job.
You gained the humans' trust and chose the right time to, murder him.
Like, literally, it's just... Captain's Unohana. Apparently, Unohana is also unfortunately multiplying.
Oh no. That's actually a problem.
Oh no, there's like 17 of her now.
Kiyorki Raku, Konamamura, and Soifan, along with his lieutenants. Kasuke and Ichigo were surrounded.
Look, as long as Soifone isn't the one multiplying, I'm happy.
Were surrounded by the mass group. Apparently, they're all going to pray to Jesus now.
Ah, yes, the mass group, the most elite of the Soul Society's warriors.
The mass group.
They're the secret Catholic division.
God, no, all I can fucking imagine now is the Monty Python book headers, where they bang themselves in the head with the book. And that's the elite division mass group. What the fuck
enemy
are these
becomes so confused that they
Fucking...
simply surrender.
Dude.
They're convinced that the chanting and the boards and the headbanging is like some kind of ultimate keto.
No, you see, it's actually an endurance training this whole time because they've been training to be hit this whole time, so therefore they've evolved to not take pain or damage. That's how fighting animes work, right?
This training has hardened our Ryatsu for years. We can no longer feel pain.
I feel like that's actually something that would happen in Bleach.
I mean, look, all I'm saying is at one point they decided in order to make all the villains scarier, they just were going to make them jobber-proof by giving them uncuttable skin if you're too much of a jobber.
Pray the hollow away? Yes, pray the hollow away.
Well, I mean, technically, yes. When they kill hollows in the real world, they actually exorcise them, so...
Well, technically... technically, when they're using keto, they're also praying.
Yeah?
The prayer just happens to take the form of a lightning bolt.
Yes.
Good old-fashioned D&D.
One of the most... Wait, Soifan was confused by this betrayal?
What? She was the second person on the list of murder.
Yeah, literally, okay. If anyone was going to instruct Rukia to assassinate Ichigo, Soifan.
Yeah.
Now we know who has the Hagoku this time, the head captain started. Oh my god, there it is again. There it fucking is again. I'm gonna start drinking every single time I fucking see the word started. I'm drinking.
Early stream end?
Possibly.
Probably.
This bourbon's a little bit stronger than what I'm used to. Ooh, holy shit, does it burn? Oh, holy fuck. I'm glad I didn't pick up the Fireball now. My fucking grandfather used to drink that. Fucking, that man had a soul of steel. Holy shit. I've had some Fireball before, and that stuff burns. Motherfucker. Any of you ever had Fireball?
That is a negative.
Cool. Good talk. Good talk. Anyway, the head captain started in his usual authoritarian voice.
Authoritarian voice.
Yes, the authoritarian voice. As opposed to the libertarian voice he has sometimes as a treat.
Well, you see, when he's using the authoritarian voice, he's instructing them how it will be. When he's using the libertarian voice, he's asking them what they want to do.
We shall snuff out all traces of its existence, including Kurosaki.
What, including who? Oh,
Kurosaki.
Right. I forgot that's his last name for some reason.
Don't tread on me, Captain. Ichigo just risked his life to end a war he had no reason to be a part of, except for the fact that Aizen was threatening to turn his hometown into a giant.
And it's not like Soul Society, to their credit, showed up to defend it, and even went out of their way to make sure there wouldn't be massive property damage.
He just proved that he deserves to live his life after sacrificing all of his power to stop Aizen. It is not a matter of his part in this war, Urahara. The old captain bellowed out.
To be fair, he did bellow quite frequently.
It is a matter of maintaining the balance of this world and ensuring all threats are eliminated. No matter who it is.
I just want to point out, old man, you have one of the most dangerous Zanpakutos in existence. Does that make you a viable threat
makes him
that
an
must be
extreme threat that must be destroyed. But you see, he works for the Shinigami, so therefore, it's okay.
Yeah, but Ichigo works as well. He's a substitute.
No,
In fact,
see,
he's honorary.
it's the Inquisitor method, you see? It's okay for the Inquisitor to be highly dangerous to the Imperium, because he's an Inquisitor. But the second and non-Inquisitor...
To be fair, there reaches a certain point when even the Inquisition is like, okay, look, we tolerated you being a Psyker. We tolerated you having the book about demon summoning. Now you've just bound a demon. No. Okay? No more. You're out. You're done.
Turn in your badge and your Inquisition seal. You're a loose cannon.
No, turn in your badge and your Inquisition seal because we don't want to ruin them with bolter fire.
What does his Zanpakuto do? Imagine fire, but more of it.
Okay, look, his Zanpakuto might as well be titled America's Korean Strategy.
Okay.
No, more like his Zanpakuto should be retitled as Fire equals yes.
If Sneaky, it's an if-then. If fire, then burn.
Then burn, yes. As he said those words, everyone around the two started to prepare for another battle. Yes, everyone just immediately accepts that Ichigo has to die without any protest, yep. Kisuke knew that there was no way to defeat everyone in his current state. Fighting Aizen earlier had drained him, and he was still recovering as best as he could at the time he showed up 2 weeks explain the seal on Isaac. Despite his current state, he picked himself up and prepared to defend Ichigo with his life if need be. Owed Ichigo that much after everything he's put the boy through.
Yeah, I feel it's worth pointing out, I don't remember Kisuke being tired after the fight because he came in at the tail end and the Kido was just prepared.
Yep.
And he also has one of the actually most busted Bankais we've seen.
Yeah, the I win button.
What's his?
I win.
He can literally restructure things using thread around him. His Bankai is, I remake you, essentially.
Oh, I see. I remake you into not a good swordsman.
Okay.
You
Also,
can't just do that.
Pedro is
well-
demanding we change the name of his Bankai to the American skincare treatment.
Oh, God.
No, that only applies to nuclear fire.
There's a callback. But yeah, no. His Bankai is one of those things where it's like, yeah, your right arm is now your left arm. What? Why? Because I said so.
Yeah, I'm gonna switch your foot with your hand, and, by the way, your penis is now your neck. Congratulations.
So the arm bone connects to the metatarsal, and the thigh bone connects to the spine.
Ever thought about having a shoulder in your ankle?
Yeah, like, it gets pretty fucking ridiculous. Like, Kubo pulled out all the fucking stops when he's like, fine, I'll just escalate. Because they wouldn't let him stop fucking writing.
I like to imagine that he decided to purposely make it as nonsensical as he could.
Probably.
Anyway. Ichigo heard everything the head captain said and had to know one thing from him before he died. With the last of his fading strength, Ichigo lifted his head off the ground and asked the old man,
Will
Yeah.
you delete my browser history?
Oh, right. I'm sorry. I was kind of dumbing down what his Bankai does. So it literally splits things apart within an AoE, and then it can put it back together if he wants.
I appreciate the addendum, if he wants.
Yeah, like in the fight that we finally see his Bankai, his eyes are slashed out, so he's like, nah, and just sews his eyes back together.
you know what I kind of want to see? I kind of want to see Salem in High School D times D.
No, you don't.
Why?
Well, because she's literally immortal, and everyone would try to kill her.
Okay. Sure, why not?
I mean, she can literally no-sell the power of destruction.
Oh, you know what? You're right, because she has she has true immortality.
Yeah,
You're
she literally bathed in the pool of the concept of destruction itself, and just walked out of it. Admittedly, looking like the Witcher high on potions, but you know,
It happens.
it happens.
So does that mean that Ozpin is reincarnated as a student at the time? That's the real question.
In a true reversal of fortunes, Salem ends up as headmistress of Kuo Academy. Husband's a student.
Okay. Here's what you do, Sneaky. You make it a humor crack fic.
Oh, absolutely.
So
Oh,
that
it's absolutely going to be a humor crack.
They're past the point of like Salem's like, I'm just done with world domination. I now solely exist to make your eternal life a living hell, Ozpin.
No, here's what it should be. Ozpin somehow found a way to stop her, and she's like, you know what? That's it. I don't want to conquer the world. I'm done trying to remake it with magical children. I just want to make sure that your eternal existence is as miserable as I can manage.
Yeah! Yay!
You ruined my plan! Congratulations. I've now dedicated myself solely to making your existence miserable.
Husband ends up on the peeping trio.
No.
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 Ozpin's a pretty hardcore humanist, to be honest. He's a fairly hardcore pro-humanity.
You know, that's true. We've never seen him take over a faunus.
He's never been a faunus before. No, but I mean, like, if you spend several thousand years trying to ensure the continuation of the human species, I'm fairly certain if some devils showed up and were just like, yeah, we turn humans into devils and corrupt them internally. Also, we rape their souls. It's like,
You know, I feel like Osmond had the moments like, well, Salem's giving up on world domination, so I guess I could do this in my off time.
Salem's a school teacher. Bigger threats, I suppose. Ozpin's a racist. He needs to be cancelled. Deus Vult.
Look, all I'm saying is he's never been a faunus.
Oh god. But Phoenix says, I'm pretty sure there are some powers in DxD that are stronger than the twin gods. Maybe? But I mean the concept of destruction is kind of like the concept of destruction, like, you know, it's a literal liquid pool of the idea of destruction.
It's a liquid pool of yeet.
It literally destroys anything living that touches it.
Except Salem.
Except Salem.
Well, that's because Salem has true immortality.
Yes.
So, also, the issue with saying I'm sure there are powers that could defeat them is that Rooster Teeth decided to go the route of like these are close to being like true gods rather than like minor
the Dragon
deities.
of Dreams, God, and Ophis could probably beat them. I'm not saying they couldn't beat them. The problem is that Salem wouldn't die. She can be beaten. She wouldn't die.
In fact, she appears to be, relatively speaking, quite easy to beat.
Also, keep in mind that Salem is still able to wield magic and has not lost any of her magic.
Oh yeah.
Unlike Ozpin, who is apparently a magicless punk.
Yeah. Who's a squib?
Well, we still don't know if how much of he was doing in his fight against Cinder was magic or
throw her
something
into space to piss her off. Yeah, she'd just be floating through space for fucking eternity. And yeah, I'm not saying there isn't ways to beat Salem with the times the powers. I'm just saying they could blast her all they want. She won't die to it. And it would be a real Deus Ex Machina if you're like, oh yeah, this god can just un-god mode her, basically.
Well, also, by the way, something that always annoyed me when people were like, I'll throw this unkillable individual just out away from my planet. I'm like, no, don't do that. Throw them straight up or straight down. Don't risk them, finding an asteroid or a space Hulk or whatever. Throw them out of the galactic disk.
Yeah, indeed.
Like, sure, eventually they'll float into some other galactic disk.
But it's not your disk.
10 million years from now. And then, maybe, they'll be mad enough to start the process of coming back. Maybe.
I'm coming back, McFly! Reference whenever everyone's
It took 16 trillion years for me to find an asteroid, but I'm coming back!
Eventually, he stopped thinking. I mean,
That
yeah,
phone,
you
you
could
know-
you could always just end up as Professor Paradox too. That is yeah. Maybe we shouldn't throw Salem into eternity.
Yep. Also, I'm kind of amused at the idea that this man has been so angry. It is this not even man, just this person is so angry. It has sustained them for trillions of years to the point where they forgot that the person that killed them is probably long dead by now. Unless they were also immortal.
Yes, the Doomslayer method. I'd be pretty mad if someone yeeted me into space and I was immortal. Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Well, also that also begs the question of, theoretically, throwing them into space would basically be throwing them into suspended animation.
Damn it, I missed the disc.
Anyway, so
Wait, no, Sneaky. That's it. That's
Yeah.
here's the best shitpost crossover for you.
Yeah.
They yeet Salem into space, and she eventually lands on Discworld because she flies so far out.
Is this a flat Earth?
On a turtle?
When did I get high?
I don't know what nebula I drifted through, but I need to find a way to drift back, because this is the most fun I've had in years.
Drifts through sun, passes Superman. I didn't know there was other Kryptonians. Fuck you. Because, you know,
Yes.
Superman lives in suns. Anyway.
I would say, there are in fact certain storylines where Superman gets so sick of humanity being garbage that he's like, I'm just gonna go sit in the actual sun.
Fuck you all, I'm going to the sun.
Because you know what I can't hear when I'm in the sun? You people whining.
The old man looks at Ichigo and huffs. Because he's a tsundere. Before answering the boy. Yes, we literally planned this entire thing. Every last conflict you have ever been in, we planned for that to happen. And we planned to eliminate you the moment that Aizen was defeated. We actually knew about everything the whole time. We just wanted to kill you.
I hate you so much, I let someone get within millimeters of having ultimate cosmic power to make sure that you died.
Goodbye, Ichigo Kurosaki. And then he cast Yi. Is this really it? Ichigo thought to himself as he was being burned alive. Is this it? Is this really how I die? Being burned alive by flames? Killed by the people I trusted? Made friends with? Bonded with?
I don't know if I'd say bonded with.
I mean, he certainly bonded with Rukia.
As the flames
It's the rest of them that I'm not so
As
sure
the
about.
flames continued to burn, Hogyoku started glowing brighter and brighter. This caught everyone's attention as they prepared themselves once more. I wish I could just change literally everything. Ichigo thought to himself, I wish I could have prevented all of this from happening. Ugh.
When you wish upon a star, sometimes
Remember, kids.
you get a BFG.
Remember, kids, do not wish upon objects that can take your wish literally. And if you do wish upon an object that takes your wish literally, be sure to be very, very specific in what precisely.
Oh, and if it's like something like the Holy Grail, if it's not like an omnipotent wish granting device, keep it small or it'll go sideways anyway.
Yes. Or be very,
Make
very
sure it's not
specific.
been corrupted either.
Yes.
Make sure that the root of all evil isn't secretly hiding inside of it, rubbing his hands together, waiting to ruin your day.
Now there's another shit posting thought. Holy Grail. I am ready with my wish. Angramani was like, yeah, boy, I'm about to fuck up this wish so hard. I wish everyone was dead. I'm gonna fuck this. Wait, what? What? Shit.
I'm not sure how to respond to this.
Everyone dies of old age. Fuck.
And then they're just sitting there with like the Holy Grail going, why are people just dying of old age, happy in their beds?
I wanted everyone to die. Why are they doing it slowly over the course of 100 years?
No, like, either that or
This is
I
the worst wish
to
granting
take on
device
all the
ever.
world's sin. There's a great one. Can you imagine that? Someone goes to Agramon, I wish to take on all the world's sin. You've just unintentionally wished me out of existence.
Oh no!
Well played, small child.
Yeah. Anyway, so, Ichigo started to glow and become encased in glow energy. Before anyone around him could do anything to stop whatever was going on, there was a bright flash and fire dispersed. It left Kusuke with heavy burns, but he was still breathing. That's a really intense fire resistance. Jesus Christ, what is it at, 52?
No, I mean, well, no, Sneaky, think about it. The old man's flames are probably like 200% fire damage, and it wouldn't surprise me if he's got some kind of like pyromancer kindle flame passive going on too.
What's your fire damage? 200%? 200% of what? Of 100%? Duh.
200% of what? You take twice the fire damage from my fire damage. It doesn't work like that. I can burn you literally out of existence. Like I can burn you so badly, everyone who knew you will forget you existed.
What did disturb them was the fact
also, by the way,
that
Sneaky,
Ichigo was gone.
has someone done the shit post where the old man's Bankai is just that he gets to insult them excellently?
No. Why would anyone ever?
Because it's a shit post.
Yeah, but you see,
Sneaky, I fully expect the internet to pluck every piece of low-hanging fruit.
Shit posts require authors, and most authors are merely retarded, not pretending to be merely retarded.
Ah, I see. An important difference.
Yeah, indeed. Unknown location. Today was a bright and sunny day in a forest outside a village. There was nothing out of the ordinary in this forest outside the village, until a young boy with brown hair, eyes.
Oh, he's got eyes. How amazing.
This young boy, of note, contains brown hair and eyes.
2 functional eyes. Going once, going twice. Sold to the old hag in the back.
He was wearing a Soul Reaper uniform and had a basic Asuachi on a blue sheath. He was walking around with an angered look on his face and seemed to be searching for something. "I'll make them pay," he whispered to himself as he finally stopped and looked to the ground. I swear it. He started as tears fell from his eyes. Fine, fucking... Oh, woo! Alright!
You alright there, buddy?
Wow, that burns! I feel like my lungs are on fire. I'll avenge you both. I swear. As the boy stood there and tried to stop his tears, a bright flash of light suddenly caught his attention. It was far off to his right, and he could feel an intense and spiritual pressure in that direction. The boy was about to run away and alert his superiors, but he stopped when the pressure receded, and he felt one singular being in its place. The boy looked back over in the direction of the source and
No,
started
hold
to
on a
feel
minute.
a
If
pull.
Ichigo is this powerful, literally no one should be able to sense him.
Yes, actually. So the author actually doesn't even know Bleach canon.
Like, canonically, first of all, canonically, Aizen got so powerful that not even Kisuke could sense him.
Let me try this. Okay.
Kisuke may be the most powerful person alive that isn't Ichigo.
Yeah.
Aizen's got a quick hand. And he's coming for you. He's coming for you. He doesn't even know what.
Sneaky, the shopkeeper with a big iron on his hip. You know, I was disappointed that we didn't ever see a Zanpakuto whose power was gun.
You see, Ichigo, I have made multiple advancements in the Zanpakuto.
Also, I understand
Technologies.
Coyote Stark was the coolest guy ever, right?
I
Because
absolutely wanted someone to have a Zanpakuto of gun and then Coyote Stark show up and he's just like, I feel vindicated now. That Hollow has a gun. I have a gun. Gun battle! They're each shooting blasts out of their guns.
Technically,
Yeah.
Soifone had an ICBM.
Yeah, I know. I also loved how Soifon was like, I fucking hate my thing. It only does massive AoE instant kill damage. But it's so obnoxious, I hate it. It's like, fuck you! You
I hate
literally
this
have a V1 nuclear bomb as a... God, fuck, no.
She's like, it sucks because everybody dodges it and it's not stealthy at all. It is the least useful thing for a murder captain.
Meanwhile, everyone else is just like, I mean, it's still a stealth mission if they're all dead, which
Yeah, I
that
was
will
gonna
most
say,
assuredly
meanwhile, every
accomplish.
Splinter Cell player.
No, every bad Splinter Cell player.
Coyote Stark shows up, some fucking random Shinigami with a cowboy hat. Fucking cowboy walks out from behind an alley. I've been training for this my whole life.
What?
Big
Who are you?
iron, big iron.
Like, I just imagine Coyote Stark. Who are you?
Everyone, who the fuck is this guy?
Wait a minute. Wasn't he that crazy dude who had a garbage Zanpakuto? I finally unlocked its secret.
Lock and load, America! Bang bang.
You know what? That would actually be just like, wait, didn't you run away like 40 years ago?
Because everybody kept teasing you about your garbage not sword.
I've been
And
training
it's
all
like,
my post-death for this.
It's like,
It turns out it's just straight shit Billy the Kid.
oh, here's the question. Like, should the gun just be the Bankai?
Yes.
Okay, so what would the Shikai be? Like,
The Shikai would
Makarov.
the Shikai would be like the previous form of the gun. So like the gun would be like, I don't know, some sort of modern rifle, but the Shikai would be like a lever action or single action revolver or something.
well, no, except that would still be useful.
Yeah.
Lever actions have some.
Fine. The
Fucking good
Shikai is a
mileage on
fucking
them.
reloading bench.
I mean, I
No,
was gonna go
okay.
way for. I was gonna make the Shikai
make
like
it just a bullet. It's
flip-flop.
no, it's just a bullet.
The fucking bullet.
Like he has to flick it. But that's all it. That like once he's used it once, it's done. He has to wait for it to recharge. For like a day.
So he's a lot less cooler version of Railgun.
Yes.
Yes. He gets one shot per day, and that's it until he unlocks the Bankai. And it's like, nah, man, it just reloads itself. Go ham.
And in came the strawberry with a big iron on his hip. Big iron.
Side note: a strawberry, just an actual strawberry with a sheriff's hat.
Oh, fucking, what was that? What was that Newgrounds show with the strawberry clock?
What?
You guys don't know about Strawberry Clock?
That's a negative.
Holy shit, that fucking brings back the memories. Goddamn Strawberry Clock.
Look, the first time I found out about animations on Newgrounds, it was a friend showing me that Shad existed. They weren't my friend for very long.
Yes, Newgrounds, the birthplace of weird videos that no one ever really wants to talk about ever again.
Let's get some, let's see. Oh yes, Strawberry Clock. We can probably play this in fine. Oh, it's 5 minutes. Yeah, stuff happens. Fucking, where's Strawberry Clock, you piece of shit?
Again,
Yeah. Here's your classic Newgrounds animation, guys.
Okay,
You're fucking...
wait. Just calm down. I'll take care
Oh,
of
you
it.
showing them clock? Oh.
Strawberry
Time
Clock,
for me
man!
to save the day again. It's time for me to go just...
Hey, Strawberry Clock Man was amazing. Philip.
What the fuck?
Welcome to.
God, fucking Newgrounds was a wild trip.
I mean, there's some actually.
By
good
the way, I
animation.
want to point out the only website to survive our childhood successfully, Newgrounds.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yep.
Goddamn Strawberry Clock.
I mean,
Like,
there's
of all
the
the
other
places
website, but
that
we don't
should
talk.
have died.
I was gonna say we have other places, but we don't usually talk about said places.
The terms of service, though. No, actually, surprisingly, guns aren't against the terms of service, and neither is blood or dead bodies.
Oh, cool. That means I can talk about K.
As it turns out, Twitch is pro first-person shooter. I know it's wild, but you know, Twitch is actually pro first-person shooter.
It's almost like they knew that they would make money off things like
Not-
Doom Eternal coming out.
Not real life first-person
Or
shooter.
Call of Duty.
It has to be a game or
Or
an animation.
you know, any other popular shit on this fucking website.
I'm really glad my comment just went over all of your heads.
No, I heard you. I just
We
choose
heard
not to
you.
acknowledge you.
Okay. Good.
There's
so,
a difference
anyway.
between me thinking that you're a jackass.
Oh, I don't like where this is going. And yet
Where
it
is it
felt
going?
familiar and almost welcoming to him. Swallowing him, caressing his body gently,
And
Like to
we're
leave
done.
now.
forcing his soul to go blank and filling it with its warmth.
Nope.
Hey, adult? I need an adult. So does
Nope.
Ichigo?
Need to find the police.
Call the police.
Look, this is still better than the Twink Naruto story that Fairy Tail Dragon Slayer wrote.
What?
I had forgotten about that until just now. Fuck you for bringing it up again. I had that was out of my head.
It was
I didn't even.
it
need
was
to
the
think about
lolly trap Twink Naruto.
Oh, I'd forgotten that.
And this is why you just nod and say yes.
it. Well, you do.
Oh, I never even saw it. So
Against
good
the
on-
boy's better judgment, he swallowed the lump in his throat.
Okay. Time to stop.
And ran in the direction of this energy.
Where the fuck are your parents? Who the fuck are your parents?
The boy made it to the source of the flash and energy originated, only to see a man there with a tattered shikakushushu laying there. The man had something glowing in his chest that started to die down when the boy showed up. The man started to groan when the light was gone and tried to lift himself up. When the boy could see the man struggling, he decided to help him. Hey, mister, you dead?
Hey, mister, you dead?
Why does that sound like the most Jersey thing in existence?
Because
Um,
it is.
Because it is. Also, it is actually against the law to ask if someone is dead and or dying in Jersey.
Wait, what?
Seriously?
Why?
Like, you can't go up to someone who's collapsed on the ground or drowning actively and be like, hey, are you dying?
Well, I mean, that's the universal term for, are you dying? Do I get your stuff in Jersey?
No, that's just salvagers' rights.
Like I said, Jersey.
Thursdays in Jersey.
You find a lot of bodies in Jersey? No, you don't. We're pretty good at hiding them.
I was gonna say that's like trying to imply that you find lots of bodies in Chicago. You do not. Thank you. We possess an abundance of marshland.
You find a lot of
There's
bodies
also
in
a lot
North
of yard-
Jersey.
there's also a lot of
Actually,
yard
no, you
clippings.
really don't find a lot of bodies in North Jersey ever. They kind of get fed to the factories.
I thought it was wood chippers.
No, the meat. Listen, the meat processing plants needed cheaper.
Did I
solutions.
stutter?
Yes, you did.
Did I stutter? No.
Did I stutter? When the boy saw the man, he was surprised. The man was not a man, but a teenager.
Hoonst.
Okay.
Maybe it was the hair. Ah, yes. Having hair separates the men from the teenagers.
I mean,
The teen took a deep breath several times, and when he was finished, he looked at the boy with purple irises and black eyes. The boy was very intimidated by this teen's strange eyes. Oh, he's got the Rinnegan. But something about him struck the boy as curious, more than afraid. Are you okay? The boy started again. God damn it!
What happened now?
That fucking the word.
Is he okay?
no.
He's vowed to take a shot every time the author uses that word. So probably not.
What are you drinking, Sneaky?
Maple bourbon.
Mmm.
90 proof.
Mmm.
Uh-oh. Oh no, so we've pulled out an old clip. What's this one?
What do we pull that note clip of?
FBI.
What am I being fucking pinged for to hell and back? Jesus Christ.
Oh.
Yes. Ozpin ends up as cute waifu. I approve. Oh yeah, the FBI open up clip.
Right. Someone's gonna be knocking your door down in about 12 hours, Sneaky.
Maybe stop throwing that up there.
That was a good clip.
So why is Nose chuckling like an idiot?
Because I just watched the clip.
Yeah.
Different screen, my friend.
should've. Yeah. I really should've.
I'm to be fair.
That was indeed a clip.
It existed.
And that's all we ever need to talk about.
Yep. Pretty much. Have female bad luck. Oh, yes, I see. I see. Thank you, Gray, for that art. Yeah. Let's go with that. Art.
Art is certainly a term we could use for that.
Art is definitely a term that could be used.
I'm not sure if it's the right word, but it's
Probably
certainly
not.
a word.
Alright, yeah. The teen started. Fuck!
How many is that now?
I don't know.
Too many.
I guess it started to drive you insane.
I'm
Hey, if he keeps at it, we might get out of here.
I am 2 fingers deep already into this bottle.
Oh, good. That means I won't have to play Dota with him after the stream's over. I can
No,
keep
you
You
have
fucking wish!
He'll just
Then
play
you
it
have to
drunk.
play
You know
with the
that.
drunk.
Okay!
That means I also have to get drunk, which means I have to pull out the last of my liquor.
The teen started.
Oh shit!
a
Hold on.
groggy tone of voice. He grabbed at his head and tried to think of what happened. Slash! Clearly he should have died, yet he was completely unscathed and still had power he possessed before to defeat Aizen. How was he still alive? Why was he here in this field? How did he get here? And who's this fucking kid? And that's when the teen remembered he was being helped up by the boy. Wait, what? What?
What?
That's when the teen remembered he was being helped up?
Why did we switch tracks like that all of a sudden?
That's
Outstanding move. Let's see if it works out for him.
He looked down to see the boy struggling to lift him and mustered up his returning strength to stand on his own. The boy looked up at him and was surprised by his recovery. You must be powerful if you don't even need a healing, Keto, to get back on your feet. The boy started. Motherfucker, stop! You are literally at the end of your story chapter! Oh!
He really has started to annoy you. Wow.
Number 8.
Fucking God, fucking shit, fucking drink all my fucking alcohol.
I don't know why you decided to do that.
Probably the same reason I decided to drink for every plot hole in Borderlands. Pure,
I think my favorite part is Sneaky started this relatively late in the game.
And he's still getting out. Ladies and gentlemen, the screaming of a man who has had too much.
The suffering tastes exquisite.
Who are you? The teen stretched himself out and popped his bones in his body. At first he was incredibly stiff from his initial waking, but now he was more loose and relaxed, and he looked down at the boy and answered him with a smirk, and pointing his thumb at himself, he said, "I'm Ichio Kurosaki." He started in a calm tone!
Take a shot. Sneaky, he wanted to make sure that you had a parting shot for the road.
I'm gonna murder this author. I'm gonna drink all this fucking alcohol and just find this author and began to death
breathe, help.
with my empty
can't breathe,
bottle.
Oh, my cardiac arrest.
What, you're so fat you're getting a heart attack from laughing?
Yes. My fat has increased to unnatural size. Behold my girth.
Okay. 9 shots of bourbon is a lot of bourbon.
Sneaky!
Oh,
If I give you $10 right now, will you dance on camera?
no!
Will you sing on camera?
I'll sing for free.
I thought you were tone deaf.
Yeah, I am. That's why I'll sing for free, because you guys suffer and I get to laugh at it.
Go ahead, fucker, sing.
Oh, all right. Let's do it.
Wait, no, hold on.
I have the server mute on standby.
No. We just need to find like a really good Hatsune Miku song for it.
Oh no! Oh,
Where are those fucking lyrics?
Sneaky,
Where are those
don't
lyrics?
sing anything that'll get you cut off from Twitch, banned, or thrown out of the bar.
Most racist song in the world.
Oh god.
Max, can you get ready with a server mute?
The problem is I can't mute him on the stream.
Yeah,
I know.
he can't
we
mute
need
me
that
on the
button.
stream.
Why can't you server mute him?
Just
I'm
a small
fucking
town
finishing-
girl. Living in a lonely world!
See, it's just
fixed
not
it.
torturous. It's funny because you're trying to be bad.
I know.
I fixed the problem, guys.
That's what you get. That's all you get. You are handed
you.
this, and you will accept it.
Thank you for your magnanimous
Why does
donation
Satan
to my
have
ears.
love glasses?
I'm sorry, you what now?
What?
Huh?
Apparently, it's a scene from Rocket Man where some guy dressed like a gay Satan has love glasses on.
Oh,
That's just Elton John.
yeah, that's just Elton John, my dude.
Like, legitimately, that's just Elton John.
I see.
We don't
I
know
don't
either.
think you do.
Rocket Man is a thing.
Rocket Man
Well,
is
no,
indeed
Rocket
Rocket
Man, you could call it
Man!
based on a man's life.
Exactly.
Alright. Okay.
It's like
Back
if
to
you
that.
made a movie about Sneaky.
The movie about me would actually be really boring.
I
If-
feel like a movie about Sneaky would somehow have more class.
The problem
despite
is,
him being literal trash.
the problem is a movie about me. It would consist of very brief moments of what the fuck is happening, followed by immensely long periods of holy shit, this man's life is possibly the most mundane, boring existence in reality itself. Like,
accurate.
even my landlord knows I don't leave the house. Like, I was talking to her today, and she commented like, "Oh yeah, you got to be having such a good time with this quarantine thing, 'cause I know you basically don't leave the house anyway." I'm like, "Yeah, it's not really affecting me too much."
Everybody's like, oh, I can't go outside. I can't get my hair cut. I can't buy my lattes. And we're like,
Meanwhile, me, the absolute Chad, ha! Haircuts are for sex.
I mean, personally, I would like to get a haircut because it's getting quite long and shaggy. And more importantly, my bangs are now over my eyes.
See,
and I look like an edgy emo.
what you gotta do is you get a beanie, right? And
No.
then when people ask, "Hey man, can I get a hit?" You go, "Sure, bruh. I need 20." And then you run away really fast and hope they don't have a gun.
I don't think that's how that works. I'm actually 95% sure that's not how that works.
Isley
There
says,
is a person dumb enough.
Isley says, "Wait, there's a quarantine going on. I didn't notice."
Yeah,
Yeah,
we know you didn't. You were too busy perving on your younger brother.
A lot of us didn't notice, Isley. Mostly because me and you, we both have jobs that are considered essential. And so we still go to them. And they still suck.
It's just
And-
now you're not allowed to
and
take
we-
leave.
And we still get paid. I mean, why would I take leave at this point? I'm only getting fucking 32 hours a week or less. You get a latte without an issue. It's called takeout. Look, here's a hot take from me.
Here's the problem.
this
These
is-
are the people who are like, no. I have to sit in the coffee shop for 10 hours a day while I pretend to write a novel and harass random strangers about their personal values.
No. See. If you order lattes, you're pathetic. That's my hot take for today.
What's
It's not
even
really
the
a hot
point of a
take.
latte?
That's
Exactly. There is none. When you want coffee, you go get some fucking coffee. When you want tea, you go outside, you grab some leaves from the ground, and you put them into a boiling pot.
Missing a few steps, but okay.
You're missing a
I
part
would-
where the leaf has to be tasty.
I was gonna say, there's a few missing parts to this, like, little
Yeah, honestly, I know that feeling with it. Yeah, my job, the head management was just like, yeah, so if you get the big Modella virus, as YouTubers are calling it, so they don't get hit by the algorithm. The
Oh, they're
Modella
seriously
virus?
calling it the Modella virus.
Yes. If you get the Modella, or the Big C as it's called, yeah, you only get 2 days of paid leave. You're not allowed to come back to work for at least 14 days, I think it is. But you only get 2 days of paid leave.
That's fucked up.
That's depressing.
I'm just sitting there like, can't we just take more paid leave if we have it? And he's like, yeah, but you can't take more paid leave if you have the coronavirus. You can only take 2 days of paid leave if you have the coronavirus. But if you don't say you have the coronavirus and you take paid leave, you can take more than 2 days. And I just sat there and was like, what?
Boss, that sounds illegal.
Boss,
That sounds
forget
fucking
illegal.
retarded.
That sounds dumb.
Well, you have to take unpaid leave for the rest of the time.
I see.
Where I work, we get paid leave. Yes, but you see, Super Potatoes, the job sector I work in works under the assumption of these people really need the money, so we can basically fuck them over.
No, not
Yeah.
basically.
Pretty much, yeah.
Not basically.
Can't YouTubers say the C virus? No, they cannot say the C virus, because if they say the C virus, and I'm abbreviating because
Here's the problem: if they say C virus, they're coming perilously close to copyright infringing on the T virus, and Umbrella will sue them.
I can't say the full statement of what he says because that gets picked up. China, as Trump says. Yeah, no. Now, if you say that, you also get pinged because apparently YouTube is now removing any video that does not exactly say exactly what the World Health Organization says is true about the virus. Which is not good. And they originally said they were doing this because there's a lot of videos out there that's telling people to take vitamin C and turmeric to boost their immunity to the virus, and it's like, yeah,
that's just like a commonplace thing.
That actually boosts your immune system operates off of vitamin C. Taking vitamin C.
I do hate that that's a thing because now I can't find any fucking orange juice in my town.
Meanwhile, I live in the Chad, Vermont, and Vermont's just like, ha! We provide all our food. Ha!
No, to be fair, you still have to ship Twinkies in from out of state.
Who the fuck buys Twinkies? Well,
That's a good question. Who the fuck buys Twinkies?
I will say,
very sad people.
Milk has raised in price by $3.
Wait, what? What do you mean? What is a Twinkie?
What's a Twinkie?
It's like one of the worst foods in existence.
No. I can speak Northeastern. So imagine a tasty cake, but it's worse.
Hold the fuck up. Why do you say that's Northeastern accent?
Because
I've
tasty
never had a cake, though.
A tasty cake is absolutely Northeastern.
It's not Northeastern.
Yes, it is.
I've never heard of a fucking pasty cake. What the fuck?
Tasty cake! Tasty cake! With a fucking T, you Boston fuck!
I'm sorry, I've never heard of that either. Probably because we have taste.
What's going on?
I am going to beat you to death with a butterscotch crimpet!
Alright, what thing did No say this time?
So, Nose said that he doesn't know what a Twinkie is, and I said, well, it's basically a tasty cake, but worse. And he's like, what's a tasty cake?
I know, I didn't ask what a Twinkie was. Fucking...
Oh
Ray
my
did.
god, he can't listen.
I'm drunk right now.
I swear he said nose.
No, He didn't. He said gray.
He very definitely did not say gray to me.
He
Granted, I
said
have my headset off right
Ray
now.
didn't know what a Twinkie was.
Anyway, so tasty cakes are fucking delicious.
Eh,
And unfortunately, they are only available in the Northeast. And you can attempt to order one. I believe they
Okay,
do
hold on a
ship.
minute. What are they like? What's the like?
just look up a tasty cake. You'll know if you
Okay.
had one or not.
A
Hold on.
tasty
no,
cake's a
taste-
fucking tasty cake, you son of a bitch. It's literally cake with butterscotch on it.
Sneaky.
Hey.
When I look for Tasty Cake, I get a brand that looks like
Yeah,
a
I
knockoff
see.
Debbie's and Hostess. So,
You wait, what?
well, according to this, I can get Tasty Cake apple pie, glazed cherry
Yes.
pie,
Yeah.
frosted
I'm
mini
just getting
donuts.
I said they ship. I'm just saying they're available in stores.
Okay, no.
usually
So the
in
first
Northeast.
No.
image is.
Oh
if
no,
you
I
look at
see what he's
images,
talking about, but
the
I have
very
never
first
seen
image
that.
is just a tasty cake.
It's a chocolate-filled pastry with chocolate chips. I have never seen it in my entire.
No.
What? What?
The fuck are you on about?
I looked up
Tasty
tasty
cake,
cake
butter-
Northeast. Oh, butterscotch. Okay, let me try that.
Okay.
Is it butterscotch crimpets?
The most
Butterscotch crimpets.
classic of tasty cake, the butterscotch crimpet. Your
I have
fucking
never seen that in my entire
snack-based
life.
god.
I have never seen that in my entire fucking life.
It is the most delicious thing. The reason why I'm not buying them anymore is because I was gonna get fat if I kept doing them.
Have you considered that they might just be a Jersey thing and not the entire Northeast?
I mean, I can buy them in Vermont, so no.
Well, maybe it's just a fucking Jersey and Vermont thing. I don't know.
No,
I have
it's-
never
they're
seen or heard.
based out of Philadelphia. You illiterate Bostonian.
I have never seen this in my entire fucking life.
They
don't
literally
know this man.
sold them in the little tiny. What was that place called? The little shop next to the
You mean the little
apartments?
shop on the corner that had
Yeah.
like the amazing chicken fingers?
Yeah.
It
I-
had
okay.
the amazing chicken fingers. The
What
garbage
was that
fries,
shop
and-
even called?
Was it? I think it was just the corner market, wasn't it?
It was just a corner market, yeah.
They sold them at the corner market. They were delicious.
I'm sorry, I was a little bit more concerned about getting the fucking chicken because the chicken was actually delicious instead of this fucking garbage butterscotch.
It
I
was
mean,
the
yeah,
chicken
they were-
and
they
it
were
was the steak
delicious, yeah.
sandwich.
No,
That's
no,
literally the only-
no, it's the morning riser.
That was it.
Yeah.
I think
Oh my
the
God.
I think the only Tasty Cakes product I've ever seen is the swirls.
Yeah, no,
But yeah, tasty
I've
cake
never
is
seen
garbage
this.
hostess.
I will fly to Chicago and double tap your ass.
no, Hostess is way better than whatever the fuck that shit is.
You're next on the list.
Come at me, bro. I'm fucking ripped.
No, you're not. Jesus Christ, you're like
I'm
500
really
pounds
sorry
of
to disappoint
lard.
you.
Wow. That was uncalled for.
Was it?
Yes.
Dude, we caught you spooning a Doritos bag.
It wasn't even. Oh my god.
Wait, hang on a second.
No,
I
Matt,
had it on my
Why
fucking
was
windowsill.
I'm sorry.
And it
Why was the
fell on
reaction? It wasn't even.
I was not trying to sleep with it.
I
Everyone
was-
like says like I was sleeping with a Doritos
I wasn't
bag.
trying to sleep with it. It just happened.
It fell on my bed, and then everyone just
no,
like
no, you
comes in
fell
the-
asleep with a Doritos bag on your bed. It was in your room when it was on your bed when I left your room. It was on your bed when I woke you up for class.
Atin being the good boyfriend.
Well,
You're
I
living in a
speci-
college dorm, you
we were
idiot.
living in a college dorm. I specifically asked him, "Yo, if I don't wake up in time, please wake me
Okay,
up."
hold on. I know exactly the size of those rooms. You are not in someone else's room unless you can not be there.
Huh?
Huh?
You are
It's okay.
only
You can word.
You are
You can
only
word
in
it.
someone else's room unless if you can only You know what I mean? Those rooms
He
were
did
fucking
that.
small.
Stinky, I
Drink has
really need you to
gotten to
finish your
him.
sentence so I can refute it.
No, those rooms were fucking small. Don't start with me. Literally taking the doors off of your
No,
your...
Sneaky, I'm trying to understand what you're complaining about. Yes, the rooms are small. No one is denying that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying though, is like you could fit like a single person and a bed in there, and that's
No,
if you didn't
no,
put the
his
dresser underneath
his
the...
his room was so long. It wasn't. It was small, right? It was narrow,
Right.
but it was long.
Oh, so he was the side room that like went the long way instead of...
Yeah,
Yeah.
I called
Okay.
dibs on the side room when I got there because
Okay.
I was like one of the first people there.
And I had the other
Right.
side room that I got the
Mm.
Sneaky. I got the garbage side room, the
Mhm.
one that was okay. You can literally put your bed one way because we've cut the walls that way.
Yeah, exactly.
No,
that
was
is the
that was-
exact
that was
room that
my
I had.
long room too. That was my room too.
I had
could only
that
put my bed
room
in one
and I
fucking place.
No,
Oh
but
my
you
God,
saw
it
my
was the
room. My
worst.
room was an L.
Oh yeah, that's fair. It was in the L.
Yeah,
My room was literally an L.
I literally had the worst room. I was the room where I had to put the bed underneath the dresser and the desk underneath the dresser, outside underneath the bed. The dresser underneath the bed and the desk underneath the bed, and I had to actually remove the doors to my the closet because I'm actually sobering up as I'm complaining about this.
Champlain was a piece of
rage is
shit
so
school.
I had to remove the doors to the closet because I couldn't fit the computer in if I didn't.
Hold on a
Champlain
minute.
was a piece of shit
Hold
school.
on a minute. Your closet came with doors?
Oh yeah, hold on a minute. You had a fucking closet?
No, and the bullshit. Everyone had a closet.
Everyone had a closet. Mine didn't come with doors.
That's probably
Me
because
neither.
someone removed them because they were like, "Holy shit! I have literally no room for these fucking doors." And I did the most New Jersey thing ever. So the
Did it involve milk crates?
no fucking the name of the people that are supposed to supervise us
The RAs?
RAs, yeah. The RA came and showed us the room. I'm just like, these doors, they have to fucking go. And the RA's like, I guess you could call a technician to get them removed. I'm like,
And you
no,
just
fuck
ripped them
that.
off.
And I took out a screwdriver, popped it into the bottom, took a hammer, bang, 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 popped the nail out, bang, 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 popped the nail out, took the door off. He's like, what the fuck?
Yeah, that definitely sounds like a
it's
Jersey
like
thing.
it's like my
Let me just dehinge this door. All right, done.
my roommate, the whose name will not be named, but Sneaky, he was one of those people.
Oh yeah.
Was it the old one or the one we had?
The one we had.
Wait, when you say those people, do you mean the ones who went to Coachella, or the ones that you don't want to name for fear of them somehow finding you again?
The second one.
The second one.
I see.
Because we're pretty sure that person will like come murder us because they're running a successful drug empire now.
Yes,
Oh
I know.
wait, he actually got that drug
no.
empire
Before you
set
say
up?
anything,
I know exactly who you're talking
you
about.
know exactly what I'm talking about.
I'm just surprised he got that up and running. Last time I heard, he hadn't been really doing that well.
I mean, I'm sure you're right, but
I still think it's hilarious. It's the one of the years. I'm just gonna remove this. I'm just gonna take this down. On boop boop. One of the years that we got a corner room, so we got the RA in our room because no one else wanted to be with the RA. But it was me, Covert, and Alex. You know, the Big Al.
yes.
Yeah.
I recall this individual.
Yeah. You fucking better. He was like 6'4" and 500 pounds.
I think I've heard of him, but I've never like seen him.
Big Al was a unit.
He may also have been a eunuch, but that's another story.
He was from North Jersey, so that's a possibility.
I
What
said
do you got
that
against
for a
North
reason,
Jersey?
Sneaky.
They're from North Jersey.
Okay. I don't really know what North
And so,
Jersey is.
so
North.
It was me, Big Al, and Covert, and it was me, Big Al, and Covert, yeah, and the RA, and the RA fucking hated us. He despised our existence.
You seem to have that effect on a lot of people.
And we found his Twitter.
Oh no.
And apparently, this was at the end of the year though we found his Twitter, because Big Al was like, "Huh, I wonder if this guy has a Twitter," because he's like really one of those like hyper hipsters. Like we came in one day and he was boiling some vegan meal in this giant pot, but like inside the giant pot, he was also thermodynamically cooking the tomato paste inside a jar that he put a plate on top of that he was also steam treating. Yeah, he would do that stuff often, right?
And all of this to try to make his weed better.
Oh, no weed, no drugs. This guy needed weed, okay? He needed weed. He was so fucking high-strung, if he was a guitar, all strings would be snapped.
Yike. Also, I'm
That's
sorry, I
a
had
lot of
the
weed.
wrong roommate, but I'm not going to describe the other roommate because they're also the kind of person that I'm worried will find us on a Twitter or hear about this.
Yeah.
But this particular individual, I did feel really bad for the guy because, Sneaky, he literally had to loft his bed so he could open his door.
Yeah, no, yeah, that is the absolute state of the Spinner house. That is the absolute state of Spinner
But it wasn't
house.
even Spinner!
It was not Spinner.
Oh, wasn't it? Wasn't the apartment Spinner?
Was it?
The apartments were
What?
Spinner, yeah.
Yes, they were. I'm sorry.
Oh!
The apartments were called Spinner House.
Yeah, they were.
Man, I fucking forgot that they were called that. Shit.
But anyway, the absolute state of fucking Spinner. Oh, but yeah, someone tried to block their door one time, and I literally just kicked it down, and I was like, "Oh, I'm sorry."
Well, see, this wasn't a case of him trying to block his door. This was a case of he got there last, and so there was only one room, right? Because there was one room that hadn't been opened, because we were all like, we're pretty sure that's the smallest room because of where every other room starts, so we're not even opening it.
Yeah.
And he tries to open the door, and he
That's
like,
why.
you know how
That's
like,
why
how
I
you do
always
that thing?
showed up an hour early.
Yeah.
Always show up an hour early.
Well, see, I showed up literally at 8 o'clock as they were opening the doors because we'd driven all night.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I had the benefit of staying over the summer each year in Spinner, so I always got the best room.
I was about to ask why you did that, but then I remembered that your
his family life.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was going to say that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like, you know the thing where like you start opening a door and then something's blocking it, so you just smash your face into the door. That's what happened to the poor kid.
Right. So anyway, so this RA's Twitter.
Yes.
Um,
Extremely high strung.
Yeah, very high strung individual, and we found his Twitter, and we were able to line up dates with certain things that I said to the RA, because I was also in the room next to the RA, because we were on the corner, so it was Big Al and Covert on the other side, and the living room on the corner part, and then me and the RA on the other side, and I came in one time, and I said, "What the fuck is that shit? Is that animal sex noises?" And apparently he went on to Twitter and said, "My roommate just came in to the apartment and said, 'What the fuck is that shit? Animal sex noises?' No, you uncultured giraffe. It's Animal Mother, a amazing band." and so,
I have so many questions right now,
And so
and I
we-
want none of them answered.
we went and favorited every single tweet about us over the past year.
Of course you did. Of fucking course you did. Why wouldn't you?
Always be careful who you tweet about, kids. They might find your Twitter someday.
Also, there was one time, right? So, we're fucking moron. I don't know if any of you guys have noticed yet, but I am stupid as hell. I am beyond stupid. on many occasions. And
thus it was written.
We tried to make chili one day. Because we're like, we have the chili pot and we never fucking use it, so let's go make chili. And so we go down to City Market and we're like, okay, so we need diced tomatoes. And we find the diced tomatoes in a can. We're like, boom, fucking done. Nailed it. We're good at this. And we find
That's
the
not
beans.
how diced tomatoes work.
And then it goes beans, and we're like, what kind of beans? And we get to the beans, and we're like, there's like 8 kinds of beans here. So we're like, let's just take one of every bean can. So we just take one of every bean can. And then we went back to get more tomatoes because we're like, wow, that's a lot of beans. We should probably get some more tomatoes. And
no, really.
And then we looked at the next ingredient on the list, and we're like, okay, meat. Taco meat's good, right? Yeah, let's just throw some taco meat in there. Let's go 80-20. We're feeling fancy. Let's go 80-20. So
God, 80-20 is so gross.
We grabbed like 3 pounds of 80-20.
No, I gotta ask, how do you people live with 80-20?
We lived in college. That's how we lived.
Look,
with it.
I lived in college and I still managed to get 90-10.
Well, okay, look, 80-20 was $5 each per pound, and we got 3 pounds. All right.
How did you drain all that grease? Genuine question: how did you drain all that grease?
Drain?
Oh, that's so bad for the pipe. God damn it.
Yeah, Atin got whenever we made shit,
and then get
Atin
ready
would get
for the
extremely
get ready for the mega mind moment, right? This is the mega mind moment. So we get to the final ingredient on this chili list that we're following, and it says seasoning salts, and I'm like, "What's a seasoning salt?" And Big Al and Covert turn to me and go, "A what?" I'm like, "A seasoning salt. It says we need seasoning salt." And they're like, "Well, let's go to the salt aisle." I'm like, "There's a salt aisle?"
No!
So we go to the salt aisle, and we're looking through this catalog, and we're like, there's 39 kinds of salts, and none of them fucking say seasoning. So like, alright, we'll get an ounce of each.
I feel like that's not how that works.
So we packed up an ounce of each salt. And then it's like, alright, now you need peppering. And we're all like, what kind of peppering? There's 48 peppers! So we got an ounce of each of those. And we also picked up like 2 pounds of jalapeno. Fresh jalapeno. No, we were not aware of the effects of jalapeno on the human body at that time. And I do not mean internally. I mean externally.
Please continue the story.
So, we get home. Oh, right. No, actually, the best part of this whole shopping trip is at City Market. They have a catalog of salts and peppers. And we didn't know,
yes.
And so we stuck the label on each of them because it was just an ounce. So we were just like, alright, we'll just stick the fucking label on each of these. And so we pull up to the checkout. You know, it was like a basket, you know? Like, it wasn't too much. It didn't look like too much, right? So the cashier was like, "Oh, this is gonna be easy." You know, we pull out the tomatoes. We pull out the.
I was like, because you've got tomatoes and meat. You've got.
We pulled out three dishes of the meat, and you know, we pulled out 6 cans of beans. And she's like, "Oh yeah, I got this." And then we pull out 72 individually labeled separate bags from the salt and pepper aisle. And she just looks at that and is just like, "Oh my fucking god!" And pulls out this thick ass binder and has to flip through the page of every binder, scanning each bag individually. And we're sitting there, we're like, "Oh, you know what? We didn't think of that part."
You're just like, oh god, we're assholes.
Right. each salt costs a different amount per ounce.
Funny how that works, don't it?
And so this bitch is just giving us like the most hateful glare that is possibly humanly capable, because we just pulled out 72
No, listen, you deserve that.
individual
100%
bags
did.
that she has to scan the bag, and then she has to find it in the giant binder, and then scan inside the giant
You
binder.
100% deserve everything that happens to you.
So like
As someone
30
who has worked that.
like 30 minutes later, we finally get out.
As someone who has worked that kind of job, you 100% deserve everything that ever happens to you.
So
Fuck you.
So we we get home and we're like, all right, step one, put tomatoes in pot. So we uncap all the tomatoes and toss it in the pot. Step two, put meat in pot. So we toss all the meat
Slorp.
into the step two was brown the meat in a pan first. So we got this. We used a wok and we poured all 3 pounds of meat into the wok, and there was a fucking mountain. I'm like, Big Al, I don't think the meat at the top of that mountain's cooking. And he's like, no, let me show you a secret New Jerseyan method of cooking top meat. And so he just fucking flips the whole fucking thing with 2 spatulas. And I'm just like, you god of grilling.
I'm sorry, what did he do?
He took 2 spatulas and was like, shoop, shoop, flip. And just flipped the whole fucking thing. And I'm like, how the fuck, that physics don't work like that?
Physics don't work like that.
I mean, to be fair, New Jersey routinely violates the laws of reality, so...
That is a factual statement. So at this point, we had the oven going and the pots going, and everything was really hot in the room. So instead of turning on the AC, like the mega minds we were, we just started taking off clothes.
Oh my sweet lord.
So first it was the shirts.
Was this at 2 o'clock in the morning?
No, it
That's
was...
the only way you're going to redeem yourself.
It was 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
Continue.
So we take off all our shirts and we're like, holy fuck, it's hot as shit! And we take off our shirts. And we're cooking this meat, and Big Al's flipping it like a goddamn fucking god of meat. And the tomatoes are boiling, and we're like, alright! It's time for the seasoning salts! What do we do with these? Well, it says we're supposed to mix it into the meat. Well, do we do it individually? No. Well, I have an idea. So let's just mix all the salt and peppers together, because that like turns into a seasoning then. And
That's totally how that works.
in a giant bowl, and then we cut the jalapenos into the bowl, and then we pour that into the pot with the meat, and everyone's like, yeah, that sounds like a good plan.
You're all so stupid.
And so Covert's over there cutting up the jalapenos, and if you don't know it, jalapeno juice actually burns skin. And so he's cutting up the jalapenos. Also, we hear, "Oh God, why is it burn?"
Why does it burn?
And we're like, "What's going on?" He's like, "Oh, the juice, it burns."
Why does it burn? Why does the thing that is specifically designed to burn?
And so he's holding his hands, and some of the juice got on his face. He tries to wipe away the juice. He's like, "Oh God, why did I do that? My face is burning."
Please tell me he then proceeded to touch his junk.
Oh
The
no!
trifecta.
And we're all just
no.
losing our shit at this. He's fucking screaming. We're laughing. And he's like, "Oh God, okay. And he gets the soap and he wipes it all off. He's scrubbing his face. I'm like, all right, you guys don't need me anymore now that we just have the pot and the seasoning salt and the jalapenos all cut. I'm gonna go take a shower. I'm sweaty as fuck. So I go take a shower, I come out of the shower, and there they are in their fucking underwear now. The pants, gone! And I'm like, why the fuck are you guys in your underwear? They're like, it's hot! I'm like, yeah, you know what? It actually is pretty hot.
By the way,
Was it perhaps the hot peppers that was making the room hot?
No,
You considered this.
Sneaky, this may have been the start of Rob saying he isn't gay.
No, Rob wasn't there. He was in Boston. Yeah, he was in Boston. So I'm like, you know what?
We have to share that story someday.
Yeah, I'm like,
too.
you know what? You guys are right. So I go into my room, I close the door, I put pants on. I'm like, wow, it is really hot. So I take my pants off. I'm wearing underwear, don't worry. So I come back out wearing my underwear. And I'm like, alright, what's left to be made? And they're like, okay, well, we've put everything into this giant pot, and it's boiling now. But it said cook for 30 minutes, but we don't really know if it's supposed to cook for 30 minutes after it starts boiling, or if before it starts boiling, that counts, because it's been in there for a while. And I'm like, oh, great, you know, that's a good point, and it doesn't say anything on this cook sheet about post-boiling or pre-boiling. And so, there we are, all three of us, in our underwear, staring at this pot, just being like, yes, it is boiling.
Yes.
Should chili be boiling? And here comes the king of the story. The RA walks in, looks to his left, sees the three of us in our underwear with, like, I think it was Welcome to the Jungle playing at the time on the speakers. And just looks at us, turns around, and walks back the fuck out. And we just start fucking losing it.
By the way, if someone had walked in on that, I would have just been like, there's some kind of giant gay thing going on, and I'm out.
Because it was great, because, like, Covert's face is, like, fucking red as hell.
Just to make it look worse.
Because of the jalapenos. And then we're like, okay, how much cheese do we add to this? And it says, add an equivalent amount of cheese to the peppers. And we're like, how many peppers do we add to this? I don't know, a lot? Okay, that seems like a good amount of cheese. So we empty like 2 fucking bags of cheese into it.
How did you not, like, die?
And so we finally get done and we're like, alright, this actually looks pretty good. It's been like 30 minutes. That's probably cooked, right?
That's probably cooked.
And the cheese is like fully melted into this giant steaming pile of red goop. And when we're looking at this, we're like, okay, well, how can we improve this? And Big Al was like, I got a 3-pound bag of Fritos. So we pour the Fritos in. And then we each scoop out a giant bowl for each of us. And we watched Code Lyoko, and that was actually probably the best chili I've ever eaten in my life.
What season of Code Lyoko?
Season 1. That was the reason why we went out, because we were like, we want to start a marathon, but we also want to like celebrate and shit and like try and cook our own food. So we made this giant like 8-pound pot of chili. And that's all we ate for like the next 3 days. And it was probably the best chili we will ever have, and it will never be replicated ever. It is officially impossible to replicate, because the sheer level of fuckery we did, I don't think we'll ever be able to figure out what steps we took. It was so perfectly seasoned, and the meat was just right, and the beans tasted great. Oh, it was so tasty. And we'll never be able to make it again.
It'll never be the same. It'll never be the same.
I
want
to point out that you had roommates that learned how to cook chili. I had roommates that literally
Oh,
had
boy,
to
here we
ask
go.
me the question, how do you brown ground beef?
That was a definite experience that I also got angry about.
Oh boy.
The Virgin Atin. How do I ground beef? How do I brown ground beef?
No, I know what I'm doing. I had to be asked that question.
So let me rephrase that.
He definitely had to be asked
the
that question like
Virgin
3 times.
Atin roommates. How do I brown ground beef? The Chad Sneaky roommates. Let's all get naked and make a giant bowl.
Yes.
I understood how to brown ground meat. It was the other 2 idiots who didn't seem to understand how to cook anything in their entire lives.
Oh,
And if we had left them in that room, they probably would have died from starvation.
Like, oh my god. First of all, the only 2 of us who actually like ate anything that we bought from a grocery store was myself and Nose.
Oh.
And that was only because you got those like fillets that had bacon on them, and I got a fucking craving for them. Like
Yes,
a
and I
motherfucker.
showed you how to do that, and they're fantastic. They're
Yeah,
cheap.
that was the one thing you had to show me how to do.
Well, to be fair, fillets are difficult because it's like, because I remember the first time you had them, you didn't know that you're actually supposed to like not cook fillets all the way through. So you're like, this isn't that great, and I was like, it's not bleeding.
Wait, you fucking well done the fillet?
He didn't know. He literally, Sneaky, the first time he had a fillet was when I showed him them at the grocery store.
Oh my god. Okay.
I was in Boston. What's a fucking fillet? I'm like, the fuck is this thing?
Okay, you know what? I'm just gonna stop this conversation right here.
Anyway, look, the point is, they were complete idiots.
Okay, but to be fair, pretty much like 99% of our class was just not ready for life in general.
I mean, yes.
This is true.
I still remember semester 1 of IT. The teacher who was going to teach us routing walks in of a class of 42. He goes, all right, so how many of you here know what I mean when I say WEPA 2 PSK?
What?
How many of them knew?
I know what that means.
And 3 people raised their hands.
This makes me sad.
And I looked around the room and I was just like, oh boy. We are in for a year.
It can't be... All the roommates I've had, none compared to my first fucking year at Champlain. Oh boy.
Which, for legal reasons, we will not be talking about.
Yes, unfortunately, it is actually legal reasons.
Yes, for legal reasons, we will not be talking about.
No, that's not even a joke. I can't actually talk about it.
I'm not joking about it either.
Oh, you're not?
Yeah, I would say, he's really not. But no, God.
No, Pedro, for legal reasons, we will not be talking about
legal
it.
reasons.
Actual
not even
legal reasons, names will not be named.
But so anyway, this
name
is in fact actually after 9 o'clock, which means it's time for the post-discussion of discussions.
You mean we weren't already at that point?
Well, we sort of were, but then I got drunk and kind of drifted way off topic, but I think everyone really appreciated that because the Ichigo story we were reading was garbage.
You're welcome.
But I will take questions at this time if anyone wants to pose anything relating to editing, relating to spag, relating to dialogue, relating to a series in general. How would you recommend to write X idea for Bleach, Ruby, Familiar Zero, etc. Yes, it's time for server teaching time. It's time for teaching time. Yes, spag. Yeah, spelling, punctuation, and grammar. Spag.
That is indeed how it goes.
Gather around, you illiterate fucks.
Wow. That's assuming anyone here is literate.
Ooh, the big clap from Gray.
Oh boy.
In the meantime, while I wait for the questions to come in, I do have a minor related story to illiterate fucks. So we were counting a certain inventory today, and the two of us who were counting both looked at each other and said, "Oh yeah, don't forget about the second row on the other shelf." And we were both like, "Yeah, yes, thank you for reminding each other to not forget about the second row, because we often forget about the second row on that shelf." And so then we hand in the count sheet, and our supervisor comes back with, "You are under $300,000," and we're like, "What?"
What?
And then we look at the sheet, and we go back to the inventory, and we're like, "You know what we forgot to count?
The second row.
The second row." And we're both just staring at it like, "Yup, that's exactly the amount of money we're missing."
Back in 10 minutes, boss. I'm gonna go count the second row.
And so we both just look at it like,
Hey, boss.
yeah.
Hey, boss, we'll be right back. We're just gonna go count the rest of the money we didn't count.
Gonna go do our job. Hang on.
Hey, boss, I think I might have taken a nap halfway through my job.
What did the server teacher ask that, wait, no one knew what the fuck he was talking about?
Oh, I don't think he understood what WPA 2K was.
WPA 2 PSK stands for Wireless Password Algorithm 2 Password Key. It's how Wi-Fi
it's the single most basic form of Wi-Fi protection that.
No, the
every
most
single router
basic form of Wi-Fi protection is WPA.
You're right. I'm sorry. I try not to think about WPA. I try not to think about it.
We tried to get that out of our minds.
Yeah.
Sorry, it's the second most basic. Anyway, point is.
When working with a series that has issues like Ruby or Worm, how far to fleshing out things would you say are needed, or can you continue without fleshing things out? And
that largely depends on the individual issue, right? If I'm working with Percy Jackson, there's a lot.
Why would you
less
ever
that
subject yourself to that?
Shut up.
Okay, Percy Jackson wasn't that bad. I'm not gonna put it up on a pedestal and say it was amazing, but it's really not that bad.
Well, okay, I'll preface that. Everything before the Titan saga was actually fairly decent.
Yeah, like everything before the Titan started showing up was fine. It was a perfectly fine, fun little YA novel with an interesting premise.
I'm gonna call it here, fellas. I got shit I gotta get done before I hit the bed.
Okay, Maxie. Good night.
Bye, Max.
Good night, Max.
But it's one of those things where the amount of work I have to do there is much less than, say, Ruby in most cases. But then there are other things that you really do have to dig into much more deeply. Like, they never really covered how, say, the monsters in the human world. And I know there's the mist, but like, it's still one of those things that's a problem.
Well, specifically when you're talking about crossovers with it, that's when it comes to just writing a straight out Ruby story, a straight out Percy Jackson story.
Straight out whatever.
You can get away with ignoring a lot. But when you are trying to write a crossover, the problem is when you do the crossover character is not going to be familiar with the world, and they're going to experience a degree of confusion depending on the crossover. So say Naruto ends up in the Percy Jackson world, there's going to be a lot of things different about the Percy Jackson world that Naruto is going to comment on, and not all of those things are fully elucidated by the Percy Jackson universe. So you do need to step in and elucidate them enough for Naruto to I don't know if it's like canonically comment on them, but like in character comment on them.
To understand them.
Yeah. And as far as that goes, if you're doing just a straight out Ruby story, this is actually a fair example. It really depends on where you're going with the Ruby story. There's stories like Silver out there that is focusing solely on the concept of aura and its relation with Grimm, because Grimm are noted to be soulless creatures that don't have aura. And so if you're going to sit there and write a story about aura, obviously the Grimm have to be included, because they are specifically mentioned to be auraless creatures, implying that all other creatures are auraful? Whatever.
Have an aura.
Or some degree of aurability. Anyway. And Silver is by I Am Yoshi. I actually highly recommend that story. It goes very in depth into a original take on how Aura and Grimm operate. And why Aura and Grimm operate that way. Now, to be fair though, to warning as a people, it is a John-centric story, because obviously John is the most capable person of using this story to investigate aura, because he is the least capable at combat. So obviously, if he is told, because this is canon, he is told he has a lot of aura. And if he is also told he's shit at combat, and that he, say, in this instance of the story, the reason why he gets into aura so much is Ozpin goes, okay, look, I gave you a chance, and unfortunately, a student has found out that you are not probably allowed to be here because you did forge your records. So, I am willing to publicly support you if you can prove that you are combat capable. And I mean, in like top, what's the term? 99th percentile?
Yeah.
Yeah, 99th percentile.
Basically saying, as long as you're first place or near first place, I have no problem backing you when this news inevitably gets out. And he gives John until the Vital Festival to start to be combat capable. And Pyrrha rightly goes, John, look, you can't just train with a sword. Training with a sword, you're not going to be able to end within not even a year, like, was it 8 months or something? Between the start of Ruby and Vital Festival starting? You're not going to be able to do within 8 months.
A semester.
Yeah, you're not going to be able to, within 8 months, outclass, in terms of physical combat, anyone here. Period. And so he's like, oh shit, I gotta look into shit. Well, Pyrrha said I had a huge aura pool.
That's not all she said was huge.
And so he looks into that, and that's the premise of the story, and it goes really deep into that. And because he goes really deep into aura and how aura operates and shit, he's able to gloss over stuff like how missions work, because that's not important to the story. He's able to gloss over how the city works, because that's not part of the story. His sole focus of this story is aura, and Grimm, Penny becomes a focus because of Penny's uniqueness.
Artificial soul.
Yeah. Pyrrha ends up becoming a focus due to Amber. Stuff like that. And so he's able to ignore a lot of the issues found within Ruby's non-canon, I guess you could call it, where it basically nothing exists to explain a lot of the stuff. He's able to ignore a lot of that because that's not the point of his story.
I would just say it's unexplored canon.
Yeah, unexplored canon, I guess.
Because something has to exist for it. It's just we haven't been told what it is, and we have no reasonable way to make inferences about it.
Right, yeah.
Right? Like, for instance, in Star Wars, the reason everybody was upset about the whole she rammed the cruiser into the big Star Destroyer is because literally everything before this is you can't enter hyperspace in a gravity well.
Right.
And you can't go too close to a planet, because if you do, you'll die and the failsafes will kick in.
Right. And so as far as when it comes to fan fiction, it's one of the reasons why I always say you need to find what you're writing for. Why are you writing the story in general, and then beyond that, what is your plan for the story? So say, my goal of the story is to look deeper into how the city operates in economics. Because John is going to fail out a beacon and become a merchant. Or something, right? So you wouldn't try to explain or
Oh yeah, I have to go back and start reading Professor Ark again.
Speaking of which,
the last time I read any of it was like when he stopped it.
Yeah, I know. Speaking of which, the medieval fantasy gamer story of Ruby is actually finished now.
Oh.
So
Anyway,
yeah.
so continue.
But I was gonna say, so if you're gonna write like some sort of merchant yawn AU, where John ends up failing at a beacon or never applied to beacon and lied to his family or whatever you want to come up with, you get to focus on huntsmen and how they operate less. Maybe you focus on their ammo, maybe you don't. It really depends on what kind of merchant John's going to be. If he's going to make weapons for huntsmen, or maybe he's going to get more into the technology behind it all, etc., etc. And you would then have to focus on certain aspects over others. What happens when he finds Penny, if he's working on some sort of Atlas mech derivative, or
is
whatever.
he an engineer? Is he a blacksmith? Is he an artisan?
And then
is he just a regular merchant?
Yeah, well then what's the end goal of all of this? What's the end goal of the story? Because the end goal, unlike what a lot of Worm authors, fanfiction authors think, the end goal of a story doesn't have to be the canon ending of the story. The ending of a Naruto story doesn't have to be him defeating Kaguya. The ending of a Ruby story doesn't have to be them defeating Salem. The ending of a Worm story doesn't have to be her defeating Scion.
Heck, the ending of a Worm story doesn't ever even have to have any of them finding out anything about Scion.
Exactly. Like, you have to figure out what the point of your story is before you can figure out what holes you need to fill and what you need to look up and become very familiar with.
And what you can just ignore out of hand. Like,
right.
For instance, if you're writing a Star Wars story about clone troopers interacting with Mandalorians,
right?
Guess what? You don't need to learn about the unknown regions. You don't need to learn about the Chiss. You don't need to learn about the Jedi or the
Actually,
Sith.
it's probably good that you don't ever learn about the Chiss.
The Chiss are amazing. You shut your whore mouth. Anyway, you don't need to learn
cool.
about the Miraluka or Revan or any of that.
And you also don't have to cover the plot holes that is the midichlorians. You don't have to cover plot holes that is the Galactic Senate and how that's supposed to operate.
It's called Wibbly Wobbly. George Lucas doesn't know how the fuck government works. Hoppity.
Yeah, that's exactly my point. Is if your focus of the story is Mandalorians meet clones, you don't have to focus on all those plot holes. You can just be like, oh yeah, the Senate does stuff and whatever.
The Senate exists. Literally no one in this story cares about it except for possibly a passing hatred from the clones.
Like, this is a story, I'm going to use an example that I saw. If this is actually a really good example of how not to fucking operate. So, it was a story about Taylor using her Parian-like powers, I guess you could call it. Basically, if she touched a building, she could assume admin controls of the building, basically, and control all the lights, control the utilities. She could literally take resources. Like if someone placed down steel plating onto the floor, like a giant stack of steel plating on the floor, she could just absorb it if she was touching the building. And then put the steel plating integrated into the walls or something just instantly.
I see.
I
would say, not so useful when you touch an old warehouse in the docks. Very useful when they lock you in the PRT building.
Actually, that is how she broke out once. But the
Well,
point of
yeah,
the story was that she used her building control power to purchase properties, rapidly fix them, and then resell them at a vastly higher cost. And
Yeah, she became the ultimate flipper.
she made a lot of money very quickly, and then she bought a lot of property very quickly using that money, and then proceeded to create like a basically a mega hotel slash casino slash mall slash apartment complex slash grocery store slash department store. Like just this enormous fucking building. With that sort of shit, you kind of need to know building laws. You need to know Massachusetts or whatever state you're placing Brockton in. You need to know their building laws because that's going to become relevant in the story. And if you're going to have legal troubles between you and the PRT, you got to know how the legal system operates. But what you don't need to know is you don't need to know how the how Coil operates. You don't need to know. I mean, maybe a little bit, but like
I was gonna say, I'm sure at some point you'll end up
but
retail moguling with him.
But obviously, the point here is you don't need to go too in depth about how, like, say how the PRT operates with its cape assignments, because that's not important to your story. You're the.
Do me a favor, can you link that story?
It's dead. It's like dead by like 3 years.
Boo.
Press
Yeah,
F to pay
it's really
respects.
unfortunate. It was sort of an interesting story, to be honest. The main problem with it, and the reason why it didn't get very popular, is the author would go on months-long hiatuses, and then come back and update like 12 chapters, and then just disappear again for months to half a year, and then come back and update like 6 chapters, and then do it again. And he just never came back this time. Taken Queen was pretty good, yes. Also you can use crossovers to basically like with Taken Queen, you can use crossovers to basically just skip over plot holes. Something new happens that basically lets you just be like, oh yeah, this plot hole here, just not important enough anymore, so it just gets
Guess
ignored.
what? We're just gonna left turn around that.
Now Pedro asks an actually important question.
How about no?
Pedro asks, how do you make a crossover system with worlds that are fundamentally different, such as magic?
Well, there's 2 options really. Like when you fundamentally boil it down. Well, no, I'm sorry. There's 3 options. Option 1 is visiting characters are turned into normies. Which has its own appeal, right? Like, oh.
Well, that's also highly dependent. That's also highly dependent on the source of the magic. But yeah, go on.
Yes. Like for instance, you can theoretically argue that Harry Dresden ending up in the Fate universe might still be able to eventually do magic.
Actually, one could argue that Harry Dresden's magic would be theoretically stronger than most other people's magic, because not only is it a magical field that no one studied at all, but it's one that he has full confidence in that it'll work, which is key part of magecraft. And because no one's ever heard of it or is even able to replicate it, Gaia's never heard of it and is not able to replicate it, which means that most of his magic would actually be the least affected by Gaia.
And heck, would technically count as true magics.
Some of it would. Because
more
true magics, keep in mind, are magics that are not replicatable by technology.
Yeah, that's fair. Hey, Birdie. Well, I was gonna say, I mean, some of his stuff certainly is like the shield bracelet. But also, he would be one of the most terrifying people because he does evocation.
Right.
No one in the Fate universe does evocation because it's hard as hell.
Right.
And then he comes striding along like, yeah, I can burn a building down in like 20 seconds.
I can burn down a building in 20 seconds. What up?
But so option 1 is unrelated to what you were saying. Option 1 is characters arrive in X universe and become normal. They can't do magic because this universe is based on mentally tricking yourself with math equations into doing it, and this universe is based on like bloodline pacts or something, right?
Right.
There's option 2, which is you can mix and match them and just this one gets really messy, and I don't recommend this one at all, which is trying to mix and match them.
That becomes very messy. It's like when people try to mix Harry Potter and the Fate-verse together, and they're like, oh yeah, the Whizzing Gamut and the Whizzing Gomet, both are things that exist. And the problem with that sort of stuff becomes, Harry Potter is actually a little bit more lenient when it comes to this sort of thing when mixing with other magical universes, because Harry Potter does restrict itself quite significantly in terms of story-wise to a hidden sect of Great Britain outside of normal land area.
Yeah.
Now you could say, well, what about the rest of the Harry Potter world? And it's like, but you could also make the argument that they too are also outside of the normal maps. So when, say, Sailor Moon comes along, or Harry Dresden comes along, you can just be like, oh yeah, their magic was just so strong they had actually hid themselves away from the rest of the world, and they were actually doing a really good job of covering up any evidence of them existing.
Or you could even just go, their magic was, or they didn't agree with the way everyone else was going, and they were like, nah, listen, we need to go, like in the Harry Dresden universe, you can go with the other wizards the people in the Harry Potter universe figured the other wizards weren't scared enough after the Inquisition, and they went deep, super deep.
Right. Or if it's DxD crossover, straight shit. It's just another lineage of mage that just hid themselves and just never came out of their turtle. Could they mistake Dresden's magic with the first magic? Some of it, I guess.
Some of it, certainly. Underplayed Creation asking, if Louise summons an elf, do you think people in the school would try to kill her? I mean, it depends.
Mostly, I would say yes.
Yeah.
I would say.
Well, it depends. Here's the thing. All of the people at the summoning ceremony wouldn't. Everyone else would. No, most of the summoning ceremony would be.
It's really heavily dependent on how you play it, because the thing is that religion plays a heavy part in Familiar Zero, and even if they just pay more or less lip service to it, it's not modern lip service. You have to keep in mind it's. Yeah, Founder Brimir is a thing. I'm not gonna spend every day praying to him, and I'm not gonna go to mass to pray to him. I just kind of accept it as a fact that he's a thing.
Yeah.
That's medieval lip service.
No, believe it or not, it's the way that many modern Catholics in other countries act, because there's.
Well, no, see, the difference there is that modern Catholics aren't going to just outright murder someone because they are gay or they disagree with Catholicism.
There's pretty backwards places out there.
Fair enough.
Yep.
Okay.
Anyway,
ignoring Africa, they're not going to outright murder someone for not believing.
But yeah, so leaving that aside, then there's the third option, which is they're just separate. I was just saying, I don't want to see. You know what? I'm not going to use that phrase because that phrase is asking for trouble. But it's all about perception. Like the Fate version of magic is totally valid over there because that's how they learned how to do magic, and the Harry Dresden version of magic is totally valid because that's how they learned to do magic. And anybody who gets taught the right information can do either system.
See, the actual interesting thing about crossing Fate and Harry Dresden in this example.
Again, I'm just using that as an example.
I know, but Harry Dresden takes place in America. As far as I'm aware, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, America.
he does occasionally bounce around the globe with the Wardens,
Right.
but that's like super rare. It's basically all in America, and it's more specifically all in Chicago.
Right, but what I was getting at there is that it takes place in America, which is actually one of the only countries that the Fateverse hasn't touched in terms of mage agencies in Fate, because you have Japan, which has some mages in it acknowledged. You have the Clock Tower Association in Britain. You have Atlas in the Middle East, Mediterranean area. And you have another one in the Russian area. But America is the only place that isn't showing up, so you can literally get away with, yeah, this is just how they do Magecraft over here. And they have so many other problems going on that they don't concern themselves with phantasmal creatures and beasts of Gaia, because they have the fucking Fae to deal with. They have fucking gun mages to deal with. It is wild and shit crazy over there. So
they have vampires to deal with.
Yeah. So you can get away actually a lot easier with the Dresden Fate Cross than you could with the Harry Potter Fate Cross. But
okay, and that's fair. But that is beside the point.
But that is also beside the point. But if you're, say, trying to do a Naruto Harry Potter cross, Naruto would still have his chakra. Harry Potter, in the end, if you're trying to put him into the Narutoverse, it's really 50-50, since we never get an actual reasoning as to where they get their magic from, but that, in fact, magic does reduce your stamina. It can be assumed that it comes from internally, which then it more or less leaves up to you whether magic could be just basically chakra, but less understood. If you're trying to put Harry into the Narutoverse, right? But if you're trying to do, say, Skyrim, Skyrim character, Elder Scrolls, since everyone fucking just uses Skyrim these days. If you're trying to use an Elder Scrolls character that ends up in a different universe, they technically wouldn't be able to use magic, because a Elder Scrolls character mage.
Let's not discuss the chim in this channel,
The
because
chim must be discussed, you know what?
The chim is not something we want to get into, because that will take us 3 hours to discuss it.
Long story short,
Long story short, y'all know was.
Yes, y'all know was. Go fuck a spotted Garduke.
Y'all know was don't even drink skooma.
Pedro asking if ley lines were ever mentioned in Harry Potter canon.
I
think they were for like hyper advanced warding.
No, warding is actually a thing that has never been mentioned in canon. That is actually a purely fanon composition. Now, of course, warding, the reason why it's such an accepted fanon is that warding is a logical conclusion of magic in the Harry Potter universe. If you're able to cast a spell on an area, say, like the Fidelis, then obviously you could call that a ward, a spell specifically designed to protect a certain area with certain definitions. So say, if you are a thief, you turn pink and an alarm goes off.
Right.
Ley lines were never mentioned in canon.
Ley lines were never mentioned in canon. However, it is another thing that you can easily incorporate, and that's why it's become an accepted Harry Potter fanon. It's a very easy to incorporate thing into the Harry Potter universe, because Stonehenge was in fact built upon multiple ley lines according to pagan lore. And you can then say, oh yeah, Hogwarts was too, because that would just make sense that the most magical place in Britain, Scotland technically, Viva Scotland, the most magical place in Scotland, what just happened to also be built on ley lines. That would just make sense for the general magic that Harry Potter has going on.
Yeah.
But as I was saying, getting back to it to answer the question in full, if you say you have a Skyrim character, they wouldn't be able to use magic because they get their magic from the stars, which are actually holes in the universe that lead to the God realm. Now, all of that shit is way more confusing than I'm making it sound to be, but just you know, Elder Scrolls characters shouldn't be able to cast magic outside of Elder Scrolls. Now, this is the part where crossovers, you can start fudging some of the results. No, not many people, like maybe 0.1%, maybe 0.01% actually, percent of people are actually going to get mad at you if your Elder Scrolls character is using magic outside of Elder Scrolls.
Because most of them won't even know.
Well, it's not
Imagine you
even,
need to use magic in Elder Scrolls.
even if they do know, most of them are gonna be like, okay, yeah, you know, it'd be pretty lame if this wizard character couldn't use his magic in this, you know, like Naruto crossover. It'd be pretty lame. Fusion worlds are always a possibility. That's point two that Atin made. But the problem with fusion worlds is vast and large, and you have a lot of intersecting problems. For example, Ranma 1/2 is probably, honestly, is one of the most fusionable series out there, because Ranma 1/2 takes place effectively in a single district of Tokyo. And while events happen in other parts of the world, they're like, oh yes, this remote location or this basically undiscovered section of the country in China, etc., etc. So as long as you don't have any stories like Judge Dredd where the world's been covered in cities or some shit, you can pretty much get away with fusioning Ranma into anything and just being like, oh yeah, you know, this was just a thing all along. Because with Ranma, they just focused so specifically on a certain area that you can get away with saying the rest of the world is anything, basically.
And also bear in mind, certain magic systems will lend themselves more easily to being crossed over. Like 40k psychery is anyone who's ever done magic was in fact a psyker. They just didn't know that it was psychic powers, not magic.
Yeah. Have we ever dabbed into a series called Shadow Hunters? And then Pedro says, do you mean Mortal Instruments? Shadow Hunters is the series. No.
Never heard of it.
No, couldn't say.
Nope.
Nope.
I hope I covered everyone's questions to their fullest extent. I hope you all learned something here when I was explaining this sort of stuff. I mean, it's way past 9 o'clock now, which of course means we're going to close, but if you have a question and you want it answered, you can most certainly show up on Friday, which is the next day we have our podcast at 7 p.m. to average of 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Because you know what? As you've seen here, there's always more, and it always gets worse.